This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Kiss me like a love song. So damn
You're listening to the Emerald FlowShow on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to the 10th episode of the Emerald FlowShow podcast. We're part of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. I'm Gerard here with Paul Vosh, and you can follow us on Twitter at Emerald FlowShow, and we're on all major podcasting apps. So if you use Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and leave us some nice comments. And you go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show if you feel so inclined to do. Paul, we've made it 10 episodes. So I think that puts us in the 98th percentile of all podcasts?
Yeah, pretty much. Next milestone is 100, so that's only going to be quite a few years away, actually, given that we're recording every other week. But yeah, definitely a big success, and obviously time for us to celebrate ourselves and pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah, and so we'll kick off the 10th episode spectacular with the question on everybody's mind: MJF, work or shoot?
Who gives a shit?
Right. No, we're going to start off with some All Japan Pro Wrestling because they've had a number of shows and a lot of things have happened, I have to say, really unexpectedly too, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, definitely. All Japan for quite a while, it was just kind of a promotion. It was just they booked an angle every once in a while, but otherwise it was mainly just focused on just having matches. And then really just in the span of 2 shows, there were just an absurd amount of kind of turns and angles and things happening. So really seems like they're kind of dialing things up kind of for the summer and for the Ota Award show. And I think especially really starting to kind of build stuff for the anniversary show at Budokan.
Yeah, definitely. I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't. We'll get to it in a minute with the review, but I can't recall a show with as many angles as that Cork and Hall show.
Yeah, I'm also trying to think when was the last time where this much happened on one show as well, because it really it almost felt like there was actually a story kind of building throughout the entire show as well, and in a weird way the Triple Crown. It seems like there's an overall story in the promotion, and in a weird way, the Triple Crown feels like the only part that is kind of disconnected from it right now.
Yeah, that's true. Although, Kento Miyahara is a former member of the Voodoo Murders.
Oh, no. I actually have a thought on not quite that, but in terms of Kento and Voodoo Murderers, so I don't know if we want to get into that now or if we want to get into that later. We'll get into that later.
We'll get to that later, I think.
Yeah.
And so we'll start off with the Superpower Series at Yokohama at the Hodogaya Public Hall on May 25th. I don't think we really have to run through the whole show because, you just had your basic undercard stuff. Although there was a good Yuma Aoyagi versus Ryuki Honda match on the undercard. And there was a build-up to a show, the tag title match on the 29th at Cork and Hall when Doi and Arashi defeated Shuji Ishikawa and Ren Ayabi. And Paul, in the show notes, you have Kuma Doi's terrible shirt.
Yes.
Now, I take offense to that because I thought the shirt was kind of cool.
Really? Because I think it's legitimately one of the worst wrestling shirts I've ever seen, because it's literally just a white t-shirt with just a really kind of... It's the cheapest looking shirt as well. Like, it literally looks like they drew it themselves. Like, they just took some marker, drew like a painting of themselves onto it, and then just like wrote below it. And I don't know. I think it looks really bad. I think it looks really lower end.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of goofy. I mean, they've been like... I think Kuma Arashi like retweets these fan pictures of them that look rather bizarre, and I think they decided to turn that into a shirt concept. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think you can still find a way to make it look better than this. I don't know. I think it just kind of looked terrible. But I think actually for this match as well, that I actually forgot to write down in the notes, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that actually it wasn't Ren Ayabe that took the pin here, it was Ishikawa that took the pin here. I think that was notable as well. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ishikawa is somewhat giving of a wrestler, even though he's booked himself to be the tag team champion.
And then he was Garora TV champion before that.
That's right.
So he pretty much always has a belt.
And so the next sort of big thing on the show was Jake Lee defeated Suwama by disqualification in like 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Suwama came out in his Voodoo Murders gear with the red hair. He attacked Jake with a chair. He hit referee Daisuke Kamabayashi with the chair, sort of to cause the DQ. And then Yuma Aoyagi, of all people, came out to make the save. And then Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato came out. Dan Tamura was playing the role of Hiromu Takahashi when Evil turned on LIJ, like screaming and sobbing about Suwama's dastardly turn. And then Ashino came out and they sort of agreed that they would take on Voodoo Murders at Cork and Hall.
Yeah. I mean, it says 4 minutes and 42, but it wasn't really a match. It's not like they wrestled before the DQ. It was pretty much just Suwama came out and just immediately just started beating Jake down with a chair and just cheating nonstop. Like, it was really just an extended beatdown until he finally hit the ref and got DQ'd. Yeah, I thought it was a fairly effective way to turn Suwama as well, and to just establish properly that, like, no, Suwama is like a heel now. He's evil. He's just back to his old Voodoo Murderous days completely. I thought afterwards as well, it was kind of nice that I didn't expect Yuma Aoyagi to come out. That did make a bit more sense though, kind of. We're going to talk about that on the next show. I did also like that you had Tsutaro Ashino come out to announce that he's going to team with Evolution as well. I thought that made a lot of sense, given that he's Suwama's former tag team partner. So I thought, like, overall, it was not a match. It was not a great match, obviously, because it was just intended to get heat. So it was a lot of heat throughout the entire match, but I thought it was a really effective way of turning Suwama heel.
Yeah, and I thought Dan played like the role of jilted stablemate really well, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if this is going to be like a long-term thing as well. If that maybe is going to lead to Dan actually turning heel and joining Voodoo Murderers at some point down the line. Or, because obviously, like, I mean, we're going to talk about as well what happens with Evolution, but again, I think I'm really curious if this is kind of a setup to get Dan to kind of the next stage of his career as well, and maybe the next stage of his career is actually a heel run.
You know, I didn't think of it that way, but I feel like that would be a bit of a, I don't know. I feel like Dan is such like a weird little like sympathetic character that it would just sort of, I don't know. I don't think he should turn, to be honest. That's just my feeling on it.
Yeah, I'm just always curious how people would, like, especially early on in their career, like, I think it's always worth to try them out as a heel, because sometimes someone that seems like they would not be good at playing a hero role actually then turns out to be amazing at it. So I would be at the very least curious to see what Dan would look like as a heel.
Yeah, I guess it's worth a try, maybe. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right for the story, but we'll see. I I guess. We don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
Really, there's still a lot of questions, I think, that are going to get resolved at Ota Ward. So in the main event of that show, Strong Hearts, Shigehiro Irie, T-Hawk, and Issei Onitsuka defeated Next Stream, Kento Miyahara, Atsuki Aoyagi, and Rising Hayato in 22 minutes and 8 seconds. I thought this was really good. Another great, like, multi-man tag from Strong Hearts in the promotion, and, like, T-Hawk got the win over Atsuki just to set up for the Triple Crown match.
I actually really loved this match as well. I thought this was yet another amazing Strong Hearts 6-man tag match. I was actually really the two people that impressed me the most in the match were actually Onitsuka and Hayato. I thought actually kind of when they were facing off against each other, that was the highlight for the match, when they just started slapping each other in the middle of the ring. I thought that to me was the best part of the match as well. Same as when like Hayato was kind of like in a submission hold, and he was just really like showing so much kind of baby face resilience and just refusing to tap out and just barely like managing to get to the ropes and everything. Like I thought this was a really amazing match, and to me actually like I went like 4.25 on this one. Like I really loved this match.
Yeah, I mean, it was really great. I mean, you pointed out Onitsuka. He's really come into his own, and he's become a great, like, little prick. I think, obviously, Shima taught him well in that department.
Yeah, I think he's really great at that. As I said, like, he's kind of like this little prick because it's kind of like everyone knows that he's, like, not as good or that he's, like, not as well established or, like, a little bit smaller as well than the other two on his team. So he kind of, like, hides behind that as well, where he's acting all high. He's acting like a big deal basically when everyone obviously knows he's not yet, and then he kind of hides behind the fact that he teams with Irie and T-Hawk to just like knows there's certain things that he can get away with because he like teams with like such powerful partners. Like I think it's a really really cool role for him.
Yeah, no, I think he's like gonna really be a big thing. Like they've already given him some big wins in Great as well. I think
he got T-pinned Kasayashi on their first show.
Yeah, so there's definitely plans for him and everything like that. So from there, we go to the Cork and Hall show, part of the Superpower Series 2022 on May 29th. Attendance was 905, which was down from the 986 at the Champion Carnival Finals. I guess it's okay, although I guess you could say it's also a slight disappointment, but I wouldn't call it bad. I don't know, that's my feeling on it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm falling at as well. It was a little disappointing to see the number go down, especially because it is a Triple Crown defense as well. So I was holding out hope that maybe they would like actually build off the momentum from the Champion Carnival and get closer to like 1,000. But it is just extremely hard to draw on Corkin at the moment as well. Because again, still every other promotion is like... Because I would probably be more worried about the number if other promotions were drawing well in Corkin. But no one is at the moment. Like, it doesn't really seem like it's recovering.
Except for those special shows.
I mean, but also... we're going to talk about one a little bit later, but like, how reliable can we actually call those numbers as well? Given that everything else is struggling so much to draw.
The pictures looked packed.
Okay, I mean, in that case, fair enough.
And that New Japan, All Japan show was legitimately packed, when I watched it.
Yeah. Okay, so those are drawing well, but kind of the regular promotion shows still aren't
DDT
drawing.
just did like 490.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not good.
No. So actually, like, All Japan kind of holding steady is actually a good situation. But again, like, I think it's bad for the Japanese wrestling. Like, it's good for All Japan that they're still drawing well comparatively to other promotions. But I think it's bad for the Japanese wrestling scene overall that Korakuen attendance doesn't seem to be recovering.
I think the best of the Super Junior shows, weren't they like around 1,100, some of them?
Yeah, I think the last Korakuen show drew like 1,100 something there, yeah. That's
not bad, I suppose. And although I guess I was going to say Dragon Gate did like a pretty good number, but that was like the Kenneth retirement show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like...
So that's more of a special show again, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go to the sort of dark match that happened 20 minutes before the show actually started. Seigo Tachibana defeated Ryo Inoue in 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I like this match. I like both of these guys. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Inoue's like potential and how he's a great rookie. And I am a absolute Tachibana defender. I think he's a really good technical wrestler that people sort of overlook because of the comedy Yakuza gimmick thing that he does. But I think we're getting a serious Tachibana emerging after this show.
Yep. I mean, we're going to talk about him a little bit later as well, but that was really the thing that stood out to me, how he was just in complete serious wrestler mode in this match. Like, there was really no comedy. Like, he just went in there and just kind of put on a clinic on the rookie here, on Inoue. And I did not expect it, and obviously that should have tipped me off that maybe something was going to happen later with him. But I was just really impressed by him because, yeah, as I said, like, it is just easy to forget how good of an actual wrestler Tachibana is because of all the comedy stuff that he's doing.
Yeah. And so the first official match of the show was Karbal Ito and Yoshitatsu defeated Sushi and Takao Mori in 5 minutes and 39 seconds. It was quick and it was completely inoffensive. I thought it was a perfectly fine match. Didn't know how it was going to turn out, but they kind of all sort of worked as hard as you would expect for them to in this match. And Ito did his crazy dive to the outside. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah, no, that's really all you want in a Karbal Ito match. It's actually one thing I wondered about with Karbal Ito as well. Like, because he's obviously way better than he has any right to be, would you ever give him, on maybe like a minor show, would you ever give him a junior title match? Not that he wins, but like just to give him one.
Well, would he be willing to do the job?
That's to be fair, yeah, that is probably the problem there, yeah. Because I think he would actually be like he would actually be able with the right opponent to put on like a pretty decent.
I think he could have a good match with Sato.
Yeah, like I think Sato would actually be the perfect guy for that.
Yeah. I mean, if he was willing to do the job, I'd do it actually.
Yeah, which again is weird because again he's 50 plus. He's not really he only started training wrestling recently. Like, it actually is kind of crazy to think about if he had actually, like, when he was like 20 or something, instead of like starting Carbell, if he had actually decided to become a wrestler. Like, I'm actually curious how good he actually could have been.
I'm pretty sure he's always been an athlete. I like looked at his like website. I think he like plays volleyball and stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, he's very, like, even at 50, like, he's still very
He's
athletic.
in great shape. Yeah. He's kind of jacked for a 50-year-old. So after that, Voodoo Murders, Minoru and Toshizo defeated Black Mensa Ray and Izanagi in 8 minutes and 53 seconds. There was a lot of brawling that you kind of expected and stuff to start, although I thought this was kind of fun towards the end with some stuff from Minoru. I guess I should clarify, Minoru is Minoru Tanaka, but he just goes by Minoru when he's a heel in Voodoo Murders. And Toshizo is Ryuji Hijikata. Some of the stuff between Minoru and Izanagi towards the end was pretty good, so I thought it was fine, although I didn't love the brawling and stuff and heel stuff at the beginning. Like I was saying, like on Twitter, like, okay, I know a lot of people don't like Voodoo Murders Return, but if it means more Minoru Tanaka in All Japan, I can accept that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. Really, I will take any excuse to get more Minoru Tanaka. And I really hope that we will actually get, like, I would assume that they're going to get like I mean, especially this team, they're going to get Jesus, why am I forgetting the name of the title now? The secondary tag title.
All Asia?
The All Asia tag title, yes. Jesus. The All Asia tag title, like, I would assume that they're going to get a shot at those belts eventually. But what I'm actually really hoping for is for Minoru to get a shot at the junior title. Because, again, it's Minoru Tanaka, so even if he's a heel, that's going to be a good match.
Oh, for sure. And I think it would be a little different in a singles match.
Yeah, at least I would hope so. I mean, we haven't really seen yet, beside the Suwama singles match, what Voodoo Murderers singles matches are going to be like.
Yeah. So, from there, we had a 6-man tag. Next Stream team at Atsuki Aoyagi, Rising Hayato, and Yuma Aoyaki defeated Hokuto Omori, Ryuki Honda, and Yusuke Kodama in 9 minutes and 5 seconds, with Hayato once again pinning Hokuto with the Shimanani driver. And they've got a match against each other, building up to their All Asia Tag match, title match on the 12th on June 6th, which I'm actually really looking forward to that match. I thought this was another, it wasn't as good as that match in Sapporo that like went on almost 20 minutes, but this was another really good tag match featuring all the young guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this match as well. And regarding actually the All Asia Tag title match, do you think Next Stream is going to win that one? Because I kind of have a feeling that they might.
If Total Eclipse is falling apart, then it would make sense for them to lose the tag titles.
Yeah.
The All Asia Tag.
Yeah, and I think it's actually like the perfect time as well to kind of put these belts on Hayato and Aoyagi as well.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of earned it as well, given like the development they've gone through like in the last couple of years, and especially for Hayato in the last 6 months. Like I think with all of the hard work that he's put in, he's kind of like earned himself to like get a first title win.
Absolutely. I think so. And so I guess we'll see. But if it just feels right, they're ready. And, and I mean, Omori and Kodama had a pretty good run with those titles too, really.
Yeah, no, it was a fairly like no one really gets like long reigns with that title.
Except for Zeus and Izanagi.
Except for Zeus and Izanagi, yes.
But I think that was also a case of, it was like the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
They were just,
And it was also just a thing to keep Zeus busy because he didn't really have anything for him. So it's just like, you just hold the All Asia title with Izanagi.
Yeah. And so the next match was Jake Lee defeated Tajiri in 7 minutes.
That would have been a shocker.
Yeah. In 7 minutes and 36 seconds with the armbar, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so, I don't know, like the way this match was built up originally was like, oh, Jake Lee's getting in shape to challenge for the Triple Crown. Tajiri agreed to it. But then Tajiri got on Twitter after the match and said he's leaving Total Eclipse. And then after this match, Yuma came out and said, will you team with me, Jake? And Jake was basically like, well, I owe you one for saving me from Suwama, but I don't want to be your friend, but I will team with you. So that's what's going on. And as for the match itself, I actually thought it was kind of good. They did a lot of mat work. So I would say it was technically good, but it just seemed really weird that they gave Tajiri as much as he got in this match, like on the mat against Jake. I think Jake should have just been a lot more dominant in this.
Yeah, I actually had a feeling that Tajiri actually got more in this match than Takao Omori did in his singles match with Jake Lee.
Oh, absolutely.
Curious decision, yeah. Because Jake pretty much just squashed Omori, and then he kind of went 50-50 for a while with Tajiri on the mat. Like, that is very weird, yeah. I think, but I still liked the match overall. I mean, it was good for what it was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also did not expect like this many angles to come out of like a Jake Lee Tajiri singles match, because it was just a ton of stuff happening after the match. Because as you said, like Tajiri leaving Total Eclipse, and then Yuma wanting to team up with Jake as well. And it will be interesting to see if that leads to anything further as well, or if this is just like a one-off. But again, he saved them on the previous night, and now they're going to team up. Like, is this going to lead to like them making up their new faction? Like, is this going to be like you kind of a like, I don't know. Like, is this going to lead to like a new, like, is this going to lead to like a Jake Lee like face turn, because obviously Sawama's like the new top heel now, and then is he going to make a new faction with Yuma, or is Yuma still in Next Stream? Is that going to lead to like Jake rejoining Next Stream, which would be very weird as well? There's so much potential things going on here. It's actually kind of confusing because there's so many potential angles this could go from here. Like, it's confusing, but it's fascinating at the same time.
Well, also, Yuma continues calling out the Basement Champion on Twitter, and I believe he actually mentioned him in his promo on this show.
Yeah, because, yeah, exactly. Like, that's the other thing as well. Like, is Naoya Nomura going to come back now? Because, yeah, Yuma has been calling him out so much, because could this be like Jake Lee and Yuma teaming up against Nomura and whoever is
Mizuki Watase.
Yeah. So that could be a potential match coming up as well.
And then so I thought this was just... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, originally I thought this was just Yuma just having some fun on Twitter, calling out Nomura. But once he starts cutting promos about it in an All Japan ring, I have to assume it's happening, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's also getting picked up by the press properly now.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like there is something in place. Like, this doesn't just feel like Yuma shooting his own angle anymore. This definitely feels like Naora might have already agreed to come back. So maybe they're planning something for him maybe they're going to have him at the anniversary show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's possible.
That's a potential thing as well. So, and I just really hope that this actually just, like, I don't know, that they maybe smoothed over whatever concerns Nomura had before, and this is just like, yeah, he left, but now he's back. Maybe he's back as like a freelancer at first, and then maybe like once both sides have kind of worked out the issues with each other, like, he can just come back full time. Like, I think that's just the best solution for everyone in this case, because it doesn't seem like either no one else is interested in him, or he's not really interested in working for anyone else full time. So just him going back to All Japan just would be the best thing for him at that point.
Well, I mean, it's just so puzzling that he can get his foot into Genbari, but Akiyama won't touch him, it seems.
Yeah, because he is an Akiyama guy, so...
Yeah, that is just bizarre, right? Like, there's something missing to the story that we don't know.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe this was just always a thing when it's like, hey, your contract is running out, and he's just like, yeah, let me just see what else is out there. And now he's like, actually, let me just come back now.
Or maybe he's like an Ibushi level strange guy.
I mean, that might also be a thing, because again, there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know, that it's just, it is just an extremely weird story. But again, if Nomura's coming back, I mean, then we have like Jake, Yuma, Nomura back, and then are they going to reform like the original next stream?
I wouldn't be against that. Although I think it's not going to involve Kento.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's also the thing as well, where it definitely feels like, because that would be just an absurdly stacked faction at this point. Because it was different when Kento was just like the only like big guy in there, and the other three were like still guys on the rise. If they're all main eventers, you can't have a faction with 4 main eventers. That doesn't work.
The main event mafia?
Yeah. Literally. That actually would be kind of cool, because I don't think we've ever really gotten that in Japanese wrestling. But I also think it would be a disaster, because like, who's gonna wrestle for the Triple Crown? Like, just the fact, like, just next stream against each other with like occasional Voodoo Murderers interference. I don't know. That would be weird. But definitely, like, there's just so much going on right now, and so much like uncertainty, but in a good way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, said this in my review on voicesofwrestling.com. Some of the stuff they set up on the show could easily go badly.
Yes.
Right? And it's too early to say that it is or not, but some of it absolutely could. I'm cautiously optimistic given how well things have been this year, but, I mean, it's entirely possible that a year from now, Voodoo Murders is still around, right? Yeah. Whereas I think this should really only be a short 6 months max, and that might even be pushing it thing.
Because Yuma teaming up with Jake could also just lead to one of them turning and joining Voodoo Murderers. Like, if Jake joins Voodoo Murderers, then it's like, okay. But like, the worst case scenario here is Yuma turns on Jake and joins Voodoo Murderers, because I think would be absolutely terrible.
I mean, ideally, Voodoo Murderers is gone after Budokan. I think that's like as long as it really should last.
Yeah, but I don't know, because of some of the things happening with Evolution as well. I don't really see Suwama turning back anytime soon.
Okay, and so this is something I wanted to bring up, because I was listening to the Eastern Lariat earlier, and they sort of speculated about this. Do you think this is just something that Suwama decided to do because he was bored?
I mean, it might be. Well, what I think is that this is going to lead to like an eventual phase out of Evolution, because Evolution is the name of his new Joshi promotion. So, because he immediately turned and joined Voodoo Murderers literally like the next show after they announced Evolution. Like, that's the tip-off for me as well. Where like, they announce Evolution, and then like 2 days later, Suwama turns heel and joins Voodoo Murderers, like, and leaves Evolution. Because I think their goal is to like phase out Evolution over time, and that's why I think that Suwama isn't going to turn back anytime soon as well.
Yeah. But then, so that means got stuck with the Voodoo Murders for the long haul?
I mean, maybe they just have Voodoo Murderers, and he has like the catalyst for him to turn, and then they're kind of slowly going to just morph it into a different faction and just kick all the scummers back out again, and just essentially remake Voodoo Murderers, or like call it something else, but with all Japan guys, basically.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that would be a better option than just continuing it as is.
Yeah, because I don't think this, like, I think it's hard to say, obviously, with no cheering, but I think it's over with people right now. It's kind of this nostalgia act, but I think long term, you obviously can't just keep like all of these freelancers in that as your main heel faction. Like, I don't think that really works. So you have to turn some of your own people as well and have them join this faction, then you can like eventually like rebrand it to like something that you really want as well. So I think that might be the long-term play here as well. But I mean, if we're already talking about Voodoo Murders and all of that stuff as well, it's actually something that I thought about for Budokan is, so what if Yuma and Jake team against Nomura at Budokan? That would leave open the Triple Crown match. Like, I would still think it's Yuma that gets the Triple Crown shot at Budokan. But we've never gotten heel Suwama versus Kento. So what if that's the thing? What if that's the Triple Crown match at Budokan?
I don't know.
And I know it's not exciting. Like, I'm kind of dreading that prospect as well. But that's like the other feeling I had when Suwama turned and joined Voodoo Murderers, that they're going to make that the match at Budokan.
I don't like that at all. That's even worse than having Jake in the main event at Budokan, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that also, like, this version of Suwama, like, if it's just like all kinds of heat throughout the match, would be just about one of the worst kind of matches they could put on for the Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get an idea soon. And then, so I guess on the topic of Voodoo Murders, the next match was Voodoo Murders Suwama, Taru, and Kono defeating Shotaro Ishino, Hikaru Sato, and Dan Tamura in 12 minutes and 46 seconds. When surprisingly Suwama pinned Sato, which I didn't really expect coming. But I'll say this match wasn't as bad as I thought it could have been, I guess.
Yeah, no, I actually was positively surprised as well. I mean, there was a lot of kind of heel cheating and everything, but I didn't really mind it in this match because it also felt very vicious as well. Like, it just felt like a really vicious beatdown, especially when they put that dog collar on Dan and choked him with that.
Could it be leading to a dog collar match?
I mean, actually, I'm not against that if it involves blood. I think it can be really... Dan versus Suwama in a dog collar match actually could be kind of cool, not gonna lie.
Yeah, he would just brutalize Dan.
Yeah, and Dan would just bleed all over the place. I think Dan actually could be low-key a really good bleeder because he has, like, relatively pale skin. So, like, the blood
and
just
the blonde hair.
Look. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So he actually would be really good kind of guy for that. Yeah, I actually hadn't I've never thought of that before, but I think now I kind of want to see it. Like, I have my doubts they're going to do it, but now I kind of want to see that.
No, I think they're willing to do gimmick matches now, so...
With Voodoo Murderers? Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, maybe that's the Suwama singles match at Budokan. It's him versus Dan in a dog collar match. That would be the ideal case. Let's do that.
Yeah. And so after the match, Ashino basically swore off the remaining members of Evolution and thought they were losers, basically.
Yeah, that's also a weird thing. It's like Suwama turns on Ashino, and then Ashino teams with Evolution here. And then it's just like, actually, I'm done with this now. Like, I have a feeling we're never going to get that Suwama-Ashino singles match now.
Well, see, like I said, like, okay, well, I can live with all this Voodoo Murder stuff if this is building up to Suwama versus Ashino. But now Ashino seems to have removed himself from the equation here.
Yeah, like,
which
completely.
is weird, because he was his tag partner.
Like, so much so he's, like, in a completely different storyline now.
Yeah.
So, like, the guy turns on you, then you team with his former stablemates once, and then you're just like, I still couldn't beat him. Fuck this, I'm out. Like, it's such a weird thing. Like, that was the most, like, out of all of the booking decisions, this was the most baffling one.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it just...
Yeah, and like I said, like, some of this stuff could end up not going very well, because I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this was really just, they wanted to break up Runaway Suplex, they didn't really have a good idea how to do it, so they just did, because they wanted to turn Suwama heel, I guess. And then they were just like, we don't really know how to do it, so we're just gonna have Suwama turn on Ashino, and then, because we need to do something, because we can't just have Ashino move on to something else immediately, they need to have at least, like, one match where they team against each other. So they did that one here, but it also seems like they don't really have any interest in doing like a long-term Suwama Ashino feud either.
Yeah, which is, I thought, the point of all of this, but so I don't know. That's the big sort of like red light or problem, red flag, I should say, for me in all of this, right? Like, you just basically remove like the biggest match you can do coming out of this, Ashino versus Suwama.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're gonna go back to that, but again, like, why go back to it eventually? Why not do it at Ota Board or build for it to happen at Budokan? And
I guess it could still happen at Budokan.
I mean, it could, but again, I mean, we're gonna talk about it later, but Ashino is like in a completely different faction now. Like, he just immediately goes, makes a new faction, and is in a tag title program. That doesn't really seem like someone that is like out to get revenge against Suwama.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, it's a little frustrating because, like, I feel like this is the first big misstep they had this year.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it is the. I mean, I've kind of in a way given up ever complaining about the booking of Ashino. It just seems like such a Don Quixote like task, basically.
Yeah. Because
it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah.
And, I mean, at this point, I'm like, if it ever happens, I'm going to be happily surprised. But otherwise, I will just always assume it's not going to happen because it's just like for my own mental health, that's just the best thing to do.
Yeah. Well, because I guess we'll talk more about Ashino because next was the All Japan World Tag Team title match. Kohei Sato and Shuji Ishikawa, the Twin Towers, defeated Koji Doi and Kumarashi in 14:43 to make their first successful defense of the titles. They just won 2 weeks before. And I really like this match. They just went out there and got right down to business and started throwing bombs. There was a bunch of crazy double team spots where these guys took some pretty big bumps. There was a Falcon Arrow off the top rope from Sato. I think it was Doi that took that. Like, it was just a lot of fun. And, like, you know, Ishikawa pinned Arashi after a giant slam. You know, him doing the giant slam to another big guy. It was really cool. So, yeah, I mean, this really actually exceeded my expectations, I thought.
Yeah, this is kind of low-key one of the things that All Japan is best at. And it's always been a speciality of the company, even though people rarely talk about it. It's just big guys, like 4 big guys facing off against each other in a tag match and just throwing bombs at each other. Like, it's like, if you really look at throughout like the entire history of the company, it's always been kind of a staple of the company, and it still is to this day. And this was just yet another example of that. And yeah, this also vastly exceeded my expectations as well. Talked about it on the last show where I'm like, not sure if Kumadoi is the right team to face off against the Twin Towers, but no, turns out they are exactly the right team to face off against them. I think it actually helped Twin Towers as well, that it was like overall like a little bit of a slower pace because it was just kind of about them just throwing kind of big moves at each other. So I think that actually really helped Twin Towers. It helped as well that like Doi and Arashi are really good bumpers. I think that's something they're not appreciated for as well, that they're really good at bumping given their size. So they were really able to like sell Twin Towers stuff really well. And yeah, their own power stuff is just very impressive as well. I think the most impressive spot for me was when Arashi had Shuji Ishikawa in a torture rack, which that is already really impressive. And then Doi suplexed him during that as well, which is just like, that's insane strength. Like for Arashi as well, like he has Ishikawa up in a torture rack, and then he also needs to jump on top of that to do the suplex as well. Like, just think about that. Like, how crazy athletic you have to be to pull that off. And they did it perfectly. Like, that was really, like, that was the highlight of the match of me, and where I was, like, legitimately impressed. Yeah, obviously, I think it was the right decision to keep it on Twin Towers as well. I think Doi and Arashi, I don't think they're ever gonna be, like, the top team in the division. But I really hope that, like, eventually they will at least get, like, at least a short run with the tag titles, because I think they've kind of like, they should get one, like, just to like recognize how good they actually have been, like, for a while now as well.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of hold the division together in some ways because, well, like I've said this before, it's not a very deep division, which is a problem because these titles are expected to main event shows.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, but that's
So
the
that
thing
is-
as well, where it's like, I mean, Doi and Arashi keeping the division together, but that's why I also get that they don't want to put the titles on them, because I don't think Doi and Arashi really would be good draws as well. So that's why I get that they don't put the titles on them. But yeah, I mean, it is a problem. I mean, hopefully that is something that All Japan is actually going to work on over the next couple of months. And I mean, we have kind of the teasers of some tag teams forming that might be able to fill up that division as well, and hopefully they actually follow through on that now.
Well, as you were saying, new teams to fill up the division. After the match, Ishino came out to challenge, and he was accompanied by Ryuki Honda and Seigo Tachibana, and they have now formed a new faction, and Ishino and Honda will be challenging for the titles at Ota Ward on June 19th. And I think Ishino was asked in an interview, are you reforming Enfants Terrible? He said he wasn't sure yet, so I don't know if that's going to be the name of the stable or what. I mean, I think it's a good stable, actually. I mean, I like it. But I just, talking about things that don't make sense, Honda tried to stab Ishino a couple months ago. And now they are tag team.
Like they had a blood feud, like they had pretty much a blood feud like earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Like they had a literal last man standing match. And now they're just like buddies. It's very weird, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they'll be a good team.
Yeah.
I think my gut tells me that the Twin Towers will retain. But
not sure, to be honest.
I mean, I think pulling the trigger isn't going to hurt and giving them titles to Ishino and Honda, to be honest with you.
Because again, I mean, to be fair, but Ashino and Honda winning, obviously that definitely puts like the kibosh on like anything happening between Suwama and Ashino, unless Suwama challenges for the tag titles.
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of two minds. Like I would really like for them to just pull the trigger and put a title on Honda, because I think that's the best next step for him to take, to just have like a lengthy tag title reign. Because we were talking about it as well for like quite a bit on our show, but we were thinking that they might form like a team with like Jake Lee and Honda and maybe have them have a tag title reign. Obviously, like we're getting Ashino and Honda instead now, but I'm still kind of maintaining that like a lengthy kind of big level tag title, or like being kind of in a big time tag team, is really like the next best step for Honda to take, because he has shown like a lot of progression, but he's still obviously like fairly young. So just being in a tag team would also help him just develop and just hide like the flaws that he still has as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like tag team champions, and if Jake and Yuma form a tag team, like, I mean, those could be like some pretty incredible matches too.
Yeah. Or Doi and Arashi versus Ashino and Honda, I think could be really good too.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, they all know each other well.
Yeah.
Right? The Wrestle One connection. So yeah. So I think you could get a lot of fresh matchups. I don't know. It just feels like the way they book, and it's, I mean, it's the Booker man too, who's the tag team champion. So I don't know. I mean, I'm like 60% sure that Twin Towers retain.
I mean, that's probably where my money would be as well. I think it would just be the right decision to make for Honda. Like, I'm more looking at it rather than Ashino. I'm more looking at it for like Honda's development. I think that would be like the next step to take for him. But then again, I mean, if you just have him regularly team with Ashino, and then maybe like long term build it up, or like maybe they win the Real World Tag League at the end of the year, that obviously would be something as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just like the one thing that I was curious about, like, because obviously like I love this faction. I think this faction is really great. Like, it just instantly becomes probably my favorite faction in the promotion. But the one thing is just like the booking and how this all came together, where like, again, we talked about it before, where Ashino was just seemed to abandon his feud with Suwama just because he lost one tag match. But also, like, is Ashino a heel now?
I don't know. Well, see, the thing is also, if he's a heel, he's not a very threatening heel, because Ishikawa made him look like a bit of a geek. Because if you heard all that laughing that was going on, right? You know what that was, from some translations I saw, it was basically Ishikawa like teasing Ashino that his like partner turned on him.
Yeah. Like that, because that's the one thing I didn't like about this as well, where like there was just way too much laughter in the crowd, which tipped me off as well, that like there was definitely something that Ishikawa was saying that was triggering that. So, but again, that's what I mean, where it might make more sense to actually have Ashino and Honda win, because like otherwise they're just gonna look like geeks.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what they're going to be as well. Like I hope not.
God.
But
yeah,
it's there's definitely potential for this to go sideways. But like for now, I'm holding out hope that it's not. So it is just like very weird where it's like, because we were speculating earlier, some earlier shows where like if Runaway Suplex breaks up, who's going to turn heel? Is it Suwama? Is it Ashino? And turns out All Japan goes, why not both? So yeah, I don't know. It's why not both, but let's not have them in the same faction, so one of them still has to turn on the other, but then the other one also turns heel like a show later.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We'll see. Right? Some things are questionable, but it's still too early to tell.
Yeah, no, like yeah. There's definitely an option here, and history also doesn't make me very confident as well.
No.
But for now, I'm willing to give it a chance, but I'm definitely somewhat keeping it at arm's length as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of approaching it. I will give them a little bit of leeway because they've had such a good year, but yeah, things could go badly fast. And so to our main event for the Triple Crown, Kento Miyahara defeated T-Hawk in 24 minutes and 9 seconds with a shutdown German suplex to make his fourth defense in this title reign, which is his fifth, I believe, with the Triple Crown. I mean, what this was great. I mean, what were we expecting? It was Kento versus T-Hawk. T-Hawk was really savage in this at points with lots of chops, some close fist punches to Kento, and some pretty nasty knees to the head as well. Just a great pace, very little downtime. My only critique of the match is that this was just like, Kento calls out T-Hawk, and then 2 weeks later we have the match, which I don't feel like was quite as well built as the last couple big matches, whether it's the Triple Crown final or Kento versus Yuma. So I think it sort of hurt in the like emotional connection department, but I mean, it was just another great match and another notch in Kento's belt for most outstanding wrestler of the year, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think with this kind of Kento moved ahead in the kind of most outstanding category again, but that's also more due to the fact that kind of Go has just been doing like 6-man tag matches, and that Okada hasn't done anything during the Best of the Super Juniors. So so that might change again. As I said, like to me, this is kind of a head-to-head race where it literally changes depending on who has a big match in a certain stretch of time. As you said, yeah, given that it didn't really have like a proper build, it definitely hurt kind of an emotional connection department. Was still a really great match nonetheless. Those kind of closed fist punches by T-Hawk were just nasty. Like, I'm not sure if this is like something that is done like super regular, because I can't really remember him doing it all that much in other matches. So if this,
I've seen him use them before, but this was like
exactly. Like I think he's definitely done them before, but never this much. So if this is just kind of like a new addition to his repertoire that he's gonna use regularly going forward, I think that's really gonna be really cool. Because they were just nasty, and like some of the headbutts as well, like like some of the headbutts that like Kento threw to like T-Hawk as well, like to his back as well to like soften him up. Like those were nasty too. Like it was just, they definitely, like, given that they didn't really have a proper build, they really made the most out of this match.
Yeah.
But I will have to say, I might be in the reverse situation or actually I might be in the situation that you were in last for like the Yuma versus Kento match, where I think I actually preferred the tag match that set up the match. Because I think I actually liked the 6-man tag, Strong Hearts versus Next Stream. I think I liked that one a little bit more than I liked this match. Like, I thought this was still really, really good. I thought this was a 4-star match, but I just liked the 6-man tag match a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I mean, it was a great 6-man, and in some ways, like just the way that Strong Hearts operates is just so awesome to see. Like, you know, as just great heel. I guess, yeah, you call them heels in that context, I think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, they're leaning heelish because obviously Kento is the baby face, kind of. I mean, that's also, yes, he is the baby face, but he also routinely abuses everyone else in his faction. But yes, that's just...
Kohei Wada did not referee this match.
Yep. I think they might be finally phasing him out a little.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that it was T-Hawk in this match?
Why with T-Hawk? Sorry, I don't see the connection.
I don't know. Maybe they're like, this match is going to move too fast.
For Wada, yeah, that might have been. I mean, that's just the thing they should have realized in general. Like I don't think you need to like kick him out completely, but like maybe don't have him ref like your Triple Crown matches. Like you can probably still do like mid-card matches. Like that's still fine.
So I think this might actually be the first Triple Crown match, other than the time that Joe Doring defended the Triple Crown in Canada against Rhino back in like 2014, that Wada was not the referee since his return to the company after the Wrestle 1 split.
Trying to think if there was like another one that he also didn't ref, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Yeah,
I'm not 100% on that, but it's been quite a few years that he's reffed them all, at least since 2018.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that Daisuke Kamabashi got it over Nikon Lee, because I think she's been with the company longer, hasn't she?
Yes. I mean, it is still Japan, and I think it's really good that, like, I mean, it's already, in a way, quote-unquote, progressive that All Japan has a female ref, but I would not be surprised if there's still, like, a certain element of, like, well, we can't have a woman ref the Triple Crown match, even if she's if she's the more senior one. Like, it's completely silly, but again, it's Japan. Like, that would not surprise me if that is the reason. That because normally in Japan, seniority trumps everything.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was.
That's why it's weird that she didn't do it. Yeah. So like that really is like to me is like the only explanation for why she didn't. Like obviously there might be a completely different reason for why she didn't, but it would not surprise me if that is the reason.
Yeah, because Kamabayashi used to be the ref in Basara, I want to say.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, before he came to All Japan, and I call him Blue Sleeves.
I mean, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the good show, I think, overall.
Yes.
It was like, episode of Raw is All Japan, but but I still think a good show. Not quite as good as some of the last few shows, but I would still say you can add it to the streak that they've had this year of good shows at Cork or other big shows.
Yeah, definitely. I think despite all the angles of some of the booking, I think overall it was really good. And I mean, it's exciting as well. Like we said, we have some concerns in where some of the booking might lead, but there's definitely kind of an air of excitement around All Japan right now.
Yeah, definitely. Much more so than quite in any time since the pandemic started.
Yes. It definitely feels they're really setting things, like I said earlier, they're really starting to set things up for Budokan. So I think it's really good that they're really building some buzz. Like it seems like they're really trying to build that Budokan show properly and creating some buzz early on and then trying to carry that all the way to Budokan.
We will talk about this in a later episode that will probably be a couple months away, but I'm starting to try to hone and figure out what my Budokan attendance estimate guess is going to be.
Yeah, I think once we get a better idea of the card, I think that's when we can start doing that,
Yeah. And so the next show has not aired yet. It will air on Samurai TV, I believe, on June 12th, but it is relevant to All Japan because they kept doing angles on the show. They can't stop doing angles. But this was really like a production of Kohei Wada, Fumihito, a.k.a. Tiger Kihara, and the Nippon Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which I believe is run by, in part by Motoko Baba's niece. I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, but it's also run by Wada and Kihara.
Yeah, they're the point men, but I believe she's the money person.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, especially if you look at I mean, it's not an All Japan show, but like it's very clearly like All Japan related.
Yeah. So they had an attendance of 1588, and I believe that's probably legit or close to it because it certainly looked full.
Did that draw better than the Keinas retirement show? Because I'm trying to think if this is like the best.
Yes.
So that's the best Korakuen numbers since the pandemic.
Keinas was 14 something, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was around there. And then it was like 15 something for the 60th anniversary.
Oh yeah, so it's either this or the anniversary show that is like the best number since the pandemic started, but still.
It's less than 100 between the 60th anniversary and the show because they're both within the 1500 range. So just quickly the results. Minoru Tanaka defeated Ryo Inoue, which I can't wait to see. Street Fight Tornado Bunkhouse Hardcore Deathmatch. Atsushio Inida, Great Kojika, Reijin Yaguchi, and Yankee Tukenju. That's Sami Kodaka and Yuka Miyamoto defeated Akira Raijin, Hikaru Sato, Kuma Arashi, Mitsuya Nagai, and Yoshitatsu.
I am somewhat curious to see this one as well. And
it only lasted 5:53, so how bad could it be?
Yeah, that's also the other thing. And again, this was labeled as the actual Jumbo Tsuruda memorial match, which, again, I need to reiterate, what better way to pay homage to Jumbo Tsuruda than a Street Fight Tornado Bunkhouse Hardcore match? You know, that Jumbo Tsuruda special.
The only stipulation that Jumbo would have ever participated in is a 2 out of 3
Yes,
falls.
exactly.
Oops, sorry, I knocked over my mic. Make sure I'm still recording and everything properly. So after that, Kim Duck retirement match. Kim Duck, Tatsumi Fujinami, and Yoshiaki Yatsu defeated Masanobu Fuji, Masao Inoue, and Shiro Koshinaka in 11 minutes and 59 seconds. This could have been decent, I guess.
I'm curious who took the fall in this one. I mean, Fuji probably.
Wasn't it Inoue?
Maybe. I actually didn't look it up, so might have been.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But, I mean, this could have been passable. I know Masao Inoue is not a a work rate master or anything, but he's still, not, completely broken down. And Koshinaka can still kind of go, actually. And then, Fujinami is still really great for, 68. Duck is 70, so I don't know what he looks like, because he hasn't wrestled in a while. And, well, Yatsu's only got one leg and wrestles on a prosthetic leg. So, whatever. I mean, I'll just say, I bet you it was better than the bunkhouse match.
Yeah, but that one as well, because it went 5:53, I just realized that's not enough time for everyone to tag in.
No, there was no tagging in this.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, it's a tornado match. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah. And then in a match that had some hilarious images on Twitter where Shingo Takagi and Yuma Aoyagi compared trophy sizes.
Yuma is bigger.
Takagi and Shingo Takagi and T-Hawk defeated Nextream, Atsuki Aoyagi and Yuma in 14:29, which could have been the match of the show, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. Very likely guess so. So
I would guess. I'm guessing it was.
I mean, also what is also easy to forget as well, because All Japan is probably on average the heavyweight division in All Japan is the largest in Japan, I would say, at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think what was really notable to me is how much bigger Yuma is than Shingo.
And Yuma doesn't look like a big guy.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because he's in All Japan, because he's in there with guys like Shuji Ishikawa, so he looks comparatively small. But if you probably put him in another promotion, he probably would be one of the bigger guys.
So, related to this topic, I came across this English interview with Kento Miyahara from 2019 that was published in Stripes, which is sort of like the U.S. newspaper for the military, because it was promoting an All Japan show in Okinawa in 2019. And in it, Kento says come and see the All Japan show. We have big heavy guys, right? So it's part of their marketing strategy and everything.
Yeah, which again makes sense because everyone else is getting smaller.
Yeah.
So it is actually a distinguishing factor for them that they are the land of the big men, basically.
And the why they love the Saito brothers, and why Renai Abbey could very well end up in the company, I think, at some point.
Yep.
And I think the Yuma Enzai, who's in the dojo, he's 6'2", because he was.
Yeah, no, they're also very clearly recruiting bigger guys. So,
yeah. Well, they had a bunch of juniors they graduated too, but
yeah.
I bet you if you put if you put Hokuto Omori in the ring with juniors in other companies, he'd actually be bigger than a lot of them.
Yeah, because he low-key could be a heavyweight.
He could be a heavyweight in Noah.
If he puts a bit more weight, whereas he would probably already easily be one in Noah.
Yeah, he's probably the size of Kinya Okada.
Yeah, I would guess so. I mean, in that case, let me just quickly look it up while you try and talk.
So yeah, while you look that up, we'll move on to the next match because we got more angles.
Omori is 177 and 85 kilograms, which I think that is comparable to someone like Nakajima.
Nakajima's 175.
Yeah, so he's actually taller than Nakajima.
Yeah. So Suwama and Yuji Nagata defeated Suzuki Gun, Taichi, and Taka Michinoku in 16 minutes and 56 seconds. I mean, this actually could have been a good match too. But what happened after the match is Suwama attacked Nagata, the beatdown, and then Nagata, Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato make the save. And Nagata, I think, joins Evolution.
Yeah.
Was that how it was formally said? And he's going to go after Suwama and Voodoo Murders with them.
And we have the Blue Justice and Evolution merger. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's already wearing blue tights, so it's not like he really has to change all that much.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like Nagata in this spot. This is a good spot for him. I don't know how good the matches will be. Maybe they will be good. I don't know. But it's cool that Nagata's involved, and I hope that it turns into more than just this little angle.
Yeah, I think Nagata's kind of a good addition to the roster if he wants to work All Japan more regularly going forward.
I'm sure it'll just be the big shows.
Yeah, at least for the big shows and everything, because obviously probably hard for him to get a spot on New Japan shows now that the foreigners are back.
Yeah.
So I think makes sense to allow him to do more outside stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say, now that the foreigners are back in New Japan, I think they're going to force Tenzan to retire.
Yes. I think that's very likely going to happen. Whereas for someone like Nagata, it makes more sense for him to work something like All Japan. I mean, and if he did actually formally join Evolution as well, I think that tips it off as well that he is going to work All Japan more regularly, because why else would he do that if it's just a one-off?
Yeah. Then our main event, Junakiyama, Kento Miyahara, and Minoru Suzuki went to a draw against Jake Lee, a 30-minute draw against Jake Lee, Takao Mori, and X, who was Joe Doring.
Yep. Really excited. Really happy Joe is back.
Okay, well, I'll get to that in a second. I thought it was going to be Taiokeia. A lot of people thought it was going to be Taiokeia. Now, I didn't. Now, we said Joe Doring's a possibility, but honestly, he was not my leading pick. So this was a very pleasant surprise.
But I think we actually said that we were we don't think Joe wants to get onto a plane just for one match.
Well, here's the thing. A couple of things. Joe didn't appear at the All Japan show on the 29th, even though he had been announced as the X by then. Joe Doring isn't announced for any All Japan shows. And the Ota Ward is the same day as Slammiversary.
Ah, damn it, okay.
But he doesn't have a match yet announced for Slammiversary, but his stablemate, Eric Young, is in the main event facing Josh Alexander for the Impact title.
So it's unlikely he's going to be there.
I would assume he would be the muscle, accompanying... He's not the only other member in the group, but I think it's one of the Deaners or something is also in the group. But I don't watch Impact that much. But so I don't know, because I should say Tiger Kihara ran an angle on his Twitter where he had Joe say a few words about, "Hey Suwama, why are you joining Voodoo Murders? I'm an original member of Evolution. I'm going to come and get you." But there's been no other indication that we're getting any more Joe. So was that just something ad-libbed at spur of the moment?
Maybe, but I'm still hoping that maybe we're gonna get a video or something. Maybe they shot something backstage at that show that they're gonna show at Ota. That's my hope basically. After the Suwama and Taro, after the Voodoo Murderers match was Evolution at Ota City, that there's gonna be something there. I mean, I hope that Joe Doring comes back more regularly to Japan.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, he's not the same as he used to be, but I think he's still, if you put him in, tag matches and everything, and don't have him do, regular singles matches, I think he can still go.
Yeah, but I also think that, I don't know how much cachet he has over the long term, but I think you can still pop a number at a show, his first, Triple Crown challenge again if you went that route.
Yeah. I think you can definitely main event a Corkin with that.
Yeah, probably do a decent number if, fans are coming back and stuff. So, yeah, I would do that, honestly. I would do a Kento versus Joe match.
To be fair, I also don't really want to see a Joe match until people are allowed to make noise again.
Yeah.
Because just a Joe Doring entrance without people, screaming Joe, kill, that would be kind of disappointing.
Yeah, for sure. So, hopefully, I'm not 100% sold that he's coming back, but Hopefully he is. So, running out of that, as soon as that show ended, they announced 5 matches for Ota Ward. Yuma Aoyagi versus Shuji Kondo. This was never a match that crossed my mind, but I can't wait.
It's going to be super exciting. It's also weird how like Shuji Kondo is in like every promotion right now, because he is in he's advanced really far in the King of Gate and Dragon Gate.
Yep.
So he's getting a push there right now.
And he's probably going to get a title shot against Kai, right?
Yeah, because he beat Kai, he squashed Kai in King of Gate. Like literally squashed him, like he squashed the champion. To like if you're someone that doesn't watch Dragon Gate, like Kai is the champion there, and Kondo squashed him in the King of Gate in like 5 minutes.
Wasn't it 37 seconds?
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it was even shorter than that. Yeah, it was great. And then, but he's also in NOAHA now because he joined Kongo. So he's there, and now he's in All Japan wrestling Yuma Aoyagi, which is about as random as a match as I can come up with.
He's pulling what you would call Shigehiro Irie.
Yeah, he really is, where he's just everywhere in like all different factions and just burrowing his way into every promotion. Really, like after he was kind of disappeared for like a little bit. Obviously he was injured, but then he still didn't really do all that much in Dragon Gate, but then also wasn't wrestling anywhere else. And now he's just everywhere at once. Really interesting. But yeah, I'm actually interested in this Aoyagi versus Kondo match. Like, it is very random, but as you said, like, it also could be a really, really good match too.
Absolutely. And then Suwama and Taru versus Yuji Nagata and Dan Tamura.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably not going to be much of an actual match. I kind of expect this to be somewhat of an extended angle as well.
I don't know. I mean, if they're smart and work around Taru, it could be decent, I guess. I kind of want to see Nagata and Suwama square off. It's been a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, also with Taru in there, and we're talking about like rebranding Voodoo Murderers. Yeah. Should they just rebrand them to Voodoo Attempted Murderers?
Yes, they could do that. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know. There's 3 good guys. Not 3 good, but like there's 3 good wrestlers in this match. And Taru. So I would expect that to be at least... Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a good feeling for this match because like it's not going to be just a normal wrestling match.
If this was Suwama in like Minoru...
Or Kono. Like if it's Kono, I would expect more of a match as well.
Yeah, yep. Or even
But I just expect a lot of heat, a lot of cheating, chair shots.
Some powder.
Choking with powder, yeah. Choking with cables.
Maybe a dog collar.
Yeah, I mean, if there is actually a dog collar in this one as well, and they put it on Dan again, then I still hope that actually means that they are going to do that eventually.
Yeah. And then we got the World Tag Titles. Twin Towers versus Shino Honda. We already discussed that and our thoughts about who should win and whether or not they should go with Shino and Honda. And then I guess also being billed as the Atsushi Aoki Memorial and the PWF Junior title match. It's official. Hikaru Sato versus Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
Paul,
do you think Tiger Mask has a chance?
Yeah, I think he does, but I'm still leaning towards Sato.
Yeah, I am leaning towards Sato as well. And even if Tiger Mask wins, I would expect that to be a very brief run and actually Sato to win it right back on like the next show or something.
Oh no, I mean Tiger Mask takes it to Budokan and drops it to Atsuki.
Maybe.
That's the only scenario that would make any sense if Tiger for him to win. If he's just going to drop it back to Sato, then that was pointless.
Yeah, but that's also how they've been booking junior titles. So, I mean, but I do expect the match to be good.
Yeah, I think Sato can get something good out of Tiger Mask.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends how motivated Tiger Mask is going to be.
Yeah, and then as sort of broad Kento. Sorry, I should have mentioned that Kento called out Jake at the end of the Cork and Hall show, basically being like, Jake never lost the title. I want to face him. So we're going to get yet another Kento versus Jake match for the Triple Crown in Ota Ward. They did this in October when they went to the 60-minute draw. I think Kento wins this and then Total Eclipse completely falls apart. That make the most sense, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the most sense here as well. Like, I don't think there's any point in putting the title on Jake now.
No.
Because, like,
he should not be the champion going into Budokan.
No, absolutely not. Like Kento needs to be involved in a title program at Budokan. Like he either needs to be champion or he needs to challenge for the belt. And I think it would be very deflating if it's just yet another Jake Lee versus Kento match at Budokan. Because if Kento loses here, then that needs to be the title match again at Budokan. So I just really hope that's not what they're doing. So I hope Kento just beats Jake, and then Jake just, as I said, Total Eclipse falls apart, and that leads into whatever Jake is going to do at Budokan. And Kento then just,
if
whoever challenges Kento, we're going to see.
If Total Eclipse does fall apart, would you keep Hokuto, Kodama, and Kumadoi in a group together? Because I think they actually work well together.
I mean, I'm also curious what Hokuto could do himself as well. Or, I mean, if we get, for example, like a new faction with like Yuma and Jake, maybe potentially, then I would actually be interested to see Hokuto in that as well. I mean, I do think they work well together. I mean, I do have a feeling that Kuma Arashi and Doi are just gonna like split off and just be a tag team without a faction now.
But do you think Kodama sort of orbits them as the third man?
Maybe I could see that he's like their third whenever they are in a 6-man tag, but I don't think they're gonna be like a formal faction anymore. Because I actually like them getting their own shirts that is not Total Eclipse branded at all. To me, is a bit of a tip off to that as well.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about it. Whether or not you like the shirts or not, that's actually a bit of a tip off, I guess.
Yeah. So I think they're just gonna be on their own now, which I think is fair enough. I think they don't really need to be in a faction to be an effective tag team. So yeah, and then Kodama and Omori, I think that depends if they keep the All Asia tag titles or not.
Yeah.
Because if they lose them, then I think they might also be done as a team as well.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so that's all Japan. Any other thoughts on the company before we move on?
No, I think we've kind of covered it fairly extensively already.
Yeah, so, keep watching. I think things will hopefully be good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not watching All Japan right now, like I think now is a good time to jump into it as well. I think that might be the only thing we haven't said yet.
Yeah, definitely. So we move on to Pro Wrestling Noah. They had a Dream On show in Yokohama. There wasn't really much. What was the date of that again? Sorry, I don't have it here.
The 19th, I think.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, I think so. The only thing I would say on that show was Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Simon Gotch, which I thought was a really good match. Gotch, I have to say, I didn't expect much, but he's really acclimated himself pretty well to Noah, and I would like to see him back, honestly.
Yeah, no. We've both talked about like how much of a positive surprise Gotch has been, and this just continued that, and like later on as well on the next show that we're going to talk about as well. So I think he's really earned himself a spot on the roster. As I said, like I hope he comes back, because he leaves sometime. Like he's going to be there still for quite a while longer. Like I think he's scheduled to leave in July.
Oh yeah, right,
yeah. So, but I hope he comes back for like the N1 and is just a regular going forward, because I think he would be a really good addition to that tournament.
Yeah, for sure. So then we go on to the Noah Dream On 2022 in Ota Ward on May 21st. Opening match, Kazuyuki Fujita defeated Kinya Okada in 7 minutes and 11 seconds. And I like this. And I gotta say, I thought this wasn't quite, well, I mean, it was a squash, but I thought Okada looked better here than I thought he was going to be allowed to look.
Yeah, I mean, especially because this was the Fujita return match after he had to drop the title. So I really expected this to just be Fujita taking his frustrations out on Okada. But they did actually make it a bit more of like an actual match than that. And it was also a lot more ground-based than I expected it to be as well. And I think they actually worked well together here. Like, if they actually ever want to do something with Okada, which I know is something that we've been banging on for 10 episodes now. But if they actually ever do something with him and they can actually have a proper singles match, I think it could be really, really good. I think these two have really good chemistry. So, yeah, I actually would be excited to see a proper singles match between them.
Yep. And then so the next match was Kai Fujimura and Yoshiki Inamura defeated Daiki Inaba and Junta Miyawaki. Yeah, I mean, this was good. I mean, all four guys not always treated very well, but they are also very good wrestlers.
I'm just happy that Inamura was on the winning side here because I actually expected Fujimura to take the pin. So happy that was not the case. So yeah, but overall, really, really good tag match, and all four guys got to show off what they can do.
I have to say, Inamura's mullet is looking great these days.
Yeah, have we actually, in general, talked about Inamura's new gear? I don't think we have yet.
No, I was thinking about it. It looks kind of good, but it looks a little too is this guy doing a Techno Team 2000 gimmick?
Yeah, I'm literally back and forth every single time if I like the gear or if I don't like the gear. Half the time I see it, I'm like, oh, this is amazing, and the other half I'm like, this is horrible. So yeah, I'm still not sure where I fall on it. So I think probably long term, once I get used to it, I'm gonna be on the side that it looks awesome. It's just it was a bit scaring when he first came out in it. So I think it's still the leftovers from that, but I think long term I'm gonna fall on the side that I think it looks good.
Yeah. Next match was Shuhei Tanaguchi defeating Mohammad Yone in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. I thought this was actually good. I don't know. I'm not going to say great or anything, but I like to see, Tanaguchi back as just good old Tanaguchi.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that actually came away from this, because obviously him leaving Funky Express and everything, I would assume is going to lead to Tanaguchi moving up the card as well. Because, I mean, as we know, he can still go, and this is Noah, so age is not really a factor of whether or not you get pushed and everything.
Right.
So that's fine. But what I actually came out of this match, and again, if age is not a factor and everything, because the one that I actually in that case want to see get pushed a bit harder than he is as well is Yone. Because Yone can still go.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's no reason why Yone is just the one guy that is just permanently banished to these undercards.
Yeah, I get... Maybe Tanaguchi because he's one of their guys. Well, Yone's been with the company almost since the beginning, really.
Yeah.
Even though he's not one of their originals.
No, but he's been loyal to the promotion for way more than other people have been.
For sure. He hasn't jumped on people that were trained by them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's been with the promotion since 2001.
Yeah.
He's pretty much only worked Noah since 2002. And how many other people that can say that?
Well, I mean, Saito's in a similar situation as Yone, really. Although he's older. Yeah. Well,
I mean, and he's also, to me, has slowed down a bit more as well. Whereas Yone, to me, can still go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tanaguchi's getting the move up the card for some reasons. Maybe he's going to be in the N1. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm against that, but that's just what I came out of this match. It wasn't that I thought Tanaguchi was bad, but I was just more impressed by Yone.
And so the next match was the Congo team of Hajime Ohara, Hiroki, Tadasuke, and Shuji Kondo defeating Atsushi Katoge, Daisuke Harada, Hao, and Yohei in 15-15 when Kondo pinned Hao with the King Kong Lariat. I mean, this was another good match.
Yep. No, I mean, Kongo's really good at these kind of matches. And the Congo juniors have kind of swelled up to be fairly large now. I mean, both in terms of numbers as also size with the addition of Shuji Kondo.
Yeah,
so,
they've got the couple power juniors in Tadasuke and Kondo now.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been talking about Tadasuke quite a bit as well, but he really is doing the best work of his career right now.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Yeah, I have really turned the corner over the last, I would say 2 years, really, on Tadasuke. Yep. And then we had the Sugiura-gun team of Hideki Suzuki, Takashi Sugera. Well, I guess Misaki Mochizuki isn't in Sugiura-gun, but they defeated Kongo, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Manabu Soya, and Masakatsu Funaki in 15-54 after Soya got pinned by Mochizuki after a running kick to the face. I mean, another great match. I mean, the undercard on this was your standard Noah undercard, but I mean, it always delivers. This is no exception.
Yeah, definitely. I think the key spot here was when Hideki flipped off Nakajima when Nakajima was on the top rope.
Yeah.
That again made some waves as well. Where, I think there were some people. I don't know actually what really the sentiment for this was. I feel there was some people that were again waving this into this bigger oh, Nakajima's getting disrespected. But to me, this was very clearly a storyline thing as well.
Right. So you think this is just part of a. So you think Nakajima's position is part of a storyline instead of him getting downcycled after a disappointing drawing as the champ?
I mean, it might be both. like honestly. But I mean, he was in theory being left off the CyberFight card. I mean, not anymore, but we're gonna get to that later.
Yeah.
So like it honestly might be both. Like I don't think they're gonna like push. Like I don't think they're gonna completely depush him. Like I just don't think he's gonna be in any like singles main events on like major shows for like at least like a while now. So, but I think he's still gonna be a pushed commodity in the promotion.
Yeah.
Like, and this to me was very clearly just like them kind of leaning into that a bit as well, and just making it a storyline basically.
Yep. And then next match was Keno defeating Simon Gotch in 10 minutes and 47 seconds after a referee stoppage because of the sleeper hold. Again, another great Gotch performance. And Keno, of course, is great. Like one of the best in the world too. Just a lot of fun.
Yep. What was curious though, because we talked about it in the last show where we expected that Gotch would at least get like some singles win here, but then he lost like against both Kaito and Keno. Don't think it really hurts him though that he lost all of those singles matches, because he looked strong in all of them, and he did lose against like 3 of the like top guys in the promotion, because obviously Funaki is a champion, and then Kaito and Keno are like 2 major stars, like the 2 main eventers. So I don't think he really loses all that much, like having lost all of these matches, and he looked strong in all of them. So he's still kind of established as a guy that is like, he is someone that can hang with the main eventers, but he can't beat them, which I think is fair for someone that is completely new in the promotion and completely new in Japan as well. Like it is still in a way like a fairly strong push for him right out of the gate. So
yeah, I think if he comes back, he'll start getting more wins.
Yeah, and I mean he is still there for like a bit longer as well. So because he did, because Keno was like trying to shake his hand in the post match, and then Gotch just rejected that. So
oh yes, that's right.
So I'm curious if this is like something more long term, if maybe he will, because I think he actually would be a really good fit for Congo.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious if this is just like something they're building to long term, or if he just joins like Seguragon instead.
Yeah, well, Seguragon already sort of seems to have like foreigners and stuff, so I don't know. I think he would actually be a better fit in Congo too.
No, I think he would be a perfect fit for Congo. Like in terms of like attitude and everything, he's just maybe him rejecting Keno just makes Keno want him more in the faction, because like, oh, this guy fits perfectly personality wise. Yeah. So it'll be a question, but I think Gotch will be sticking around past July, or at least for like this tour as long as it lasts. Yeah. And so the next match for the JC Junior Tag Team title, Stinger, Chris Ridgway, and Yoshinari Ogawa went to a no contest with Stinger. Or no, sorry, Ogawa and Ridgway aren't in Stinger anymore. No, they are. So basically this match was about whoever loses this match has to leave Stinger.
Oh, right, okay.
So no one has to leave Stinger now.
Because it was a no contest, because Peros Del Mal returned. And NOSAWA has signed a new contract with the company.
Maybe,
perhaps. Yeah, because they've used contracts as storylines before, right? Because Super Crazy had signed a year-long contract. But have you noticed that Super Crazy isn't on any of these shows?
No, he's back. They actually announced him. He's going to be back. Yeah, they already announced that he's going to come back as well. I don't even really want to talk about the match itself, more about the angle, because the match was fine, but it also felt like it never got into like second gear. Yeah. Which again makes sense because there was no contest, but also that it was 21 minutes of just
so stupid
middling work, and then they do a no contest. It just really felt like they wasted my time here. Like if you're gonna do no contest, then I don't know, do a 10-minute match and then do it. Yeah. Don't do a 21-minute match and then just have no finish. Like that's just, I don't know, that was kind of shitty to me.
This felt like the stupidest thing that the Noah Juniors they've done in the Noah Junior division in a while, because I thought it was getting better. Yeah. And they did this.
Yeah. Like I don't mind that it was a no contest, and I wouldn't have minded it if it was a long match, but like the combination of both, like that just really left a sour taste in my mouth. I mean, otherwise though, the angle was good. The English commentary a little bit gave it away, because originally, I mean, it was clear that it was like Paris Demal, but they were wearing masks. But commentary just immediately was like, oh my god, it's Nosawa, Kotaro Suzuki, and Eita, before they even took off their masks. Like, oh, I mean, yes, obviously it's them, but also he kind of like, he kind of took it away here. Like, he went like a few seconds too early on that one. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy that Paris them all are back. I think the junior division would have been fine without them, but I also think it is a more varied division with them in it. Right. And that also means that the like Dragon Gate, like Noah relationship is still ongoing and might actually be stronger as well, because we're actually going to get a Triangle Gate match now going as well, where Stinger is, where it's going, because Ridgeway is going back to England, so we're not going to have like a GHC junior tag title match until he comes back. Right. So instead now Ogawa, Yoshioka, and Susumu are going to have a match for the Triangle Gate.
Now that could be a good match.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, overall, I'm happy that Nosawa is back. Who knows what his backstage position is now? I mean, if I'm being honest, all of this, like, backstage turmoil and everything, like, I kind of low-key don't really give a shit. Like, I actually find all of the discussion around it to be very tiring and a little bit annoying. So, yeah. But otherwise, like, I think it is good though that they're back with the promotion now. They're a good addition to the promotion. So yeah, I mean, so obviously they already announced that Super Crazy is back. I wonder if that means that that Tejano Jr. is also going to be back as well, because I thought he did really well in the like 2 matches that he had. So kind of would be sad if this would have been just a one-off and if he's like the only Los Perros guy that's not back. Well, actually, there is actually one Los Perros guy that actually seems to be gone, because they did publish the alignment chart, because Noah has this alignment chart of like who's in which faction and who's challenging for what belt, and they did put Los Perros back up there, but it was only Suzuki, Eita, and Nosawa, and they've already announced that Super Crazy is going to be back. But someone that I think was notable to not be back, and maybe he's just going to return later, was Ikoto Hidaka. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he's like the second best worker.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would be really, like I would be really sad if that means Hidaka's gone, and maybe he pops up in Noah like later on, or maybe he goes somewhere else. Like if he goes somewhere else, then maybe he goes to All Japan, or
come back to All Japan and have a match against Sato.
Yeah, exactly. Like I definitely would be in favor of that, but it would be kind of weird if he's like within all of this kind of like weird like Los Perros Del Mal storyline and Fallout, if he's like the only one that doesn't come back.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, you can never say this person's not coming back to Noah these days.
Yeah, exactly.
So he could just pop up under a mask like to run in at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, like so that's low-key what I'm expecting, that he might interfere in the Triangle Gate.
Yeah. And so the next match after this was Hayata defeated Extreme Tiger for to retain the GHC Junior Heavyweight title in his first defense after winning the title back from Eita in 14 minutes and 53 seconds after the headache. I thought this was not bad. I mean, and they kept it to a reasonable length for a Hayata title match, which sometimes go way too long. So I have to say, like, this was fine and good. You know, there's not much to it or anything like that, but, you know, it wasn't like, well, I don't know if it was ever going to be a train wreck, but I thought it could be very underwhelming, so I will say it wasn't that.
I don't know, I thought this was just extremely boring.
Really?
Yeah, I actually, you know, looking at the time as well, it actually felt like it was as long as the junior tag title match to me. Like, I struggled really hard to pay attention during this match, and maybe that was because we just had this, like, 21-minute no contest match, and then a Hayata match right after. Like, I really struggle to, like, because normally, like, I try not to look at my phone, like, I try and pay attention to the match, but, like, in this one, I, like, just very often just felt my eyes, like, wandering, like, over to my phone, like, so much so that I had to, like, put it out of reach, just so that I was able to pay attention to the match.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know, I just didn't like this match at all. I mean, to me, Extreme Tiger, like, he's a weird one. Like, he can have good matches, but then sometimes he just puts in a performance like this where he's just completely nothing. So I was just bored. Like, it was just, I don't know.
I mean, maybe I oversold it. I mean, I'm not saying it was a great match or anything. I think it just was a case of it exceeding my very low expectations, really, if anything.
Maybe.
You know, I didn't I just wasn't quite, I don't think, as bored as you, but I think I was expecting something that could have been kind of ugly. So, and it wasn't that, I thought. And then, so the semi-main event for the GHC heavyweight tag team titles, and I think a result that everyone expected. Michael Elgin and Masa Kitamiya defeated El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. and Rene Dupree in 23 minutes and 22 seconds after Kitamiya pinned Wagner Jr. after like a double power bomb. This went way too long, I thought, but it wasn't that bad. There was some like cool like power spots interspersed within the match. But keeping some of these guys in a 23-minute match is a bit much, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't as bad as the match before it. I also thought this was a little bit boring. I guess maybe because I watched it, I don't know. I did have somewhat higher expectations for this. Yeah, I also thought it went a little bit too long. It ended up, like, it was still an okay match. Like, I don't think it was a bad match, but it was just kind of an okay match. Obviously, like, it was the expected result as well. Yeah, I mean, just interested to see where like the tag titles are going to go going forward as well. I do expect this team like that they're gonna be somewhat high up the card as well, so that they might like main event some minor shows as well. And I would also expect them to have like a relatively lengthy reign with the title as well.
Yep, I expect that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any high expectations at all in going into this because I thought, I don't know, Wagner's improved, but like I don't know if he can carry a long tag match, and of course Rene Dupree not so much, right?
No,
and Kitamiya's hit and miss, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just expected like there were some power spots, but maybe I like expected like it be like a bit more of like more like similar to like the Twin Towers versus Kumadoi match.
They probably could have done that in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and been a way better match.
Yeah, where they just kind of throw each other around, and they did that a little bit, but not as much as I expected them to.
And then to the main event for the big triumphant return of Keiji Muto and his artificial knees. Go Shiozaki, Kaito Kiyomiya, and Masato Tanaka defeated Muto, Naomichi Marufuji, and Satoshi Kojima in 23 minutes and 46 seconds when Shiozaki pinned Kojima after a lariat, sort of evening things up in their build to the main event of the CyberFight Festival. I mean, I thought Muto looked like Muto, which isn't to say great, but he didn't look any worse than he was looking when he got injured or his hip started acting up on him.
Yeah, I didn't really notice a difference as well. I mean, I guess he was wrestling kind of with this hip injury before as well, because I think it was just
for all we know, it really hasn't healed.
Yeah, that too. So I guess maybe that's why there was really no difference, because I think it was just a case where this was a thing that had been bothering him for a while. So he finally went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, no, your hip's fucked." So.
Yeah, Muto doesn't like to listen to doctors.
Yes, I mean, I think everyone knows that. I think that's literally the one thing that everyone can agree upon for Keiji Muto. Like, I think even his biggest defenders are gonna agree that Muto doesn't listen to doctors. They just see that as a good thing. So, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, in this case, and I actually forgot to put it on the run sheet for the CyberFight Festival, like, Muto is going to have an announcement. Like, he doesn't have a match at the CyberFight Festival, but he has an announcement at the CyberFight Festival. So, what do you think that announcement is going to be?
I think a lot of people are expecting retirement, but I could see him swerving in and announcing he's challenging for the winner of Kojima versus Shiozaki.
Yeah.
That's the big announcement, isn't it, really?
I mean, those are really the two options here, because I don't really foresee him announcing anything else.
They're not going to do something stupid where he announces he's going to retire, but also challenge Kojima, the winner of Kojima.
He's going to retire with the belt.
Well, Vern Gagne did it.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone that is Keiji Muto's big idol, it's Vern Gagne.
Muto would
Doesn't Muto has no kids, right? As far as I know.
Muto has a daughter.
A daughter, okay. Because I was like, we can't have like a Greg situation here.
Well, she is of university age. Like, she runs his Twitter. I think.
That explains a lot, actually.
And yeah, there's like, she's like, I think she might be like a informal advisor to him, because she's like, he's tweeted out pictures of her at dinner with like Shanshiro Takagi.
So when is she going to win the Princess Championship?
Well, I don't. There's no indication that she's going to be a wrestler, so
you never know.
Yeah,
but
so
maybe that's the to be honest, maybe that's the announcement that she's
yeah.
going to start training.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So something's happening. Although I don't think it. I think it's just a title challenge.
I mean, it might be like it's either that or retirement. Like it really depends. Like. Yeah, I mean, we can't really make any statements based off of like how he looked in this match, because he is just very broken down already. So it could just be that like, yeah, he can still move around as he could previously, but like as he was moving around previously was already like someone that probably should consider retirement. So who knows what this is actually going to be.
And speaking of bad knees, Marufuji's also out due to knee injury.
Yeah.
After this match. So what do you think of the match, though?
I thought the match was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was really solid, good match. I would say probably like my favorite match on the show was still Kano versus Gotch, but I think this one was second. It was just a really rock solid 6-man tag match. Continued to build to Kojima versus Shiozaki. Like, it was actually interesting because I expected Muto to kind of take up like the majority of the match because it was like his big return match. But they still kind of kept the focus on Shiozaki versus Kojima.
Which is the right choice, of
yes.
course.
No, obviously, because...
For a better match.
Yes. That's the big title match for like the biggest... Because CyberFight Festival is like the biggest... Technically the biggest show of the year for the CyberFight promotions. So you should keep the focus on that title match.
Yeah, I thought it was another good match. I mean, main event 6-man formula, which is always delivers no matter what other bullshit's going on in the company, really.
I mean, they have like really, like, again... They have really, like, you can't say that they don't have, like, a really kind of broad spectrum of main eventers. Like, they probably have one of the, like, widest array of, like, people that can main event a show of, like, anyone in Japan, really. Because there's just so many people they can plug into these main events, especially on these 6-mans. So, like, that way they can keep it fresh as well, because they can just keep cycle guys in and out of those matches, and no one really looks out of place.
I can't remember, did I mention the attendance when we started this show?
No, I don't think so.
No, neither do I. So it was 924 people, which I have to say, I think that's a disappointment, right?
Yeah. I know some people brought up like that New Japan drew like 777 people in there earlier in the year, but that one to me is still murky if that was with attendance caps or not. Whereas if we compare it to shows that definitely did not have attendance caps, like the All Japan, like Ota show, drew like significantly more than that. Dragon Gate drew significantly more than that. Stardom, like actually just recently, like just this week, we had Stardom and New Japan run there as well and draw significantly above 1,000 people in there. Like
I believe Stardom drew like 1,800.
Yeah, New Japan drew 1,800 in there with Robbie Eagles versus El Desperado. And again, I know this did not really have like a GHC title match. But again, it was built around like the big return of Muto, and you had like
who's supposed to be your biggest draw
on there. And Noah, to me, like Noah has the aspirations to like challenge All Japan, New Japan. Like they have the aspirations to challenge New Japan, and they have the backing of a major corporation. So that's the standard I'm going to hold them to for drawing.
Right.
Like they should draw more than All Japan on a show, even without a GHC title match, like simply because they should be a much bigger promotion than All Japan, just based on the budget that both promotions have.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you take out the Budokan number was disappointing, but still bigger than what All Japan does.
Yeah.
And the Sumo Hall number are still bigger than what All Japan does. But in Korakins and in some other venues, I mean, All Japan's big shows are outdrawing some of Noah's bigger shows. Not their biggest, but shows that Noah, I still think, should be outdrawing All Japan in.
Yes, like it shouldn't even really be a contest, to be honest. Like just based on where like CyberFight wants Noah to be, because they clearly position it as the lead brand. And I think maybe that's actually one of the reasons why there isn't a KOD title match on the CyberFight Festival show, because they might still try and push Noah that much more. That like Noah is like, that's the prestige brand basically that they want really to be the drawing brand within the promotion. So, and again, growth is flat. I mean, they're still running quite a few more bigger buildings, and maybe they're going to recover like later in the year, but like as it is right now, like they definitely don't show the level of growth that they should be based on the investment that has been made into the promotion.
Right, definitely. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Because they have shown some growth. Like if you compare them numbers, like there is some growth there, but I don't think it's enough. Like there's not enough of a return on investment right now.
No, definitely not.
So they really like
There's a lot
need
of
to
money
step
coming
up in the second half of the year to like justify the investment being made.
There was a lot of money invested in this company.
Yes.
Muto's contract is big, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I mean, their shows, they
Fujita's
do look
contract.
big league. Like they do, like their production values are amazing. Like the show feel big as well, but then you look at the actual numbers and it's disappointing. Yes.
Yeah. So we then move on to the show on, I believe it was the 30th or 31st at Club Sita Kawasaki. It only drew 162 people. I don't know enough about this venue to whether or not that's like a good number or not.
It looked full, and I actually tried to look up because I can't remember seeing this venue before. Like at first glance, I thought it was Shinkiba because it had kind of that Shinkiba vibe.
Right.
It's not. I actually tried to find. I went back like all the way to like I tried to look for Cage Match to find like that building being run. Previously, I couldn't find any other show. Like I went back to like 2015, I couldn't find another show in that building. So it might be a new venue.
It is. It might be a new venue open to the fans because it is also built as the Noah Special Arena, and I think that's where they were taping those empty arena matches.
Oh, yeah. Now that you say that, yeah, that is the same building. So maybe that is just like. Maybe they own it as well, so maybe that's just like something where they're gonna run like minor shows going forward.
Yeah.
Which again, I thought the building looked good for like a show like this.
For sure. I would keep running shows. It looks better than Yokohama Radiant Hall.
Yeah. No, it does look like a proper wrestling venue. Like I said, it has that kind of like Shinkiba vibe that works perfectly for smaller shows.
Yeah. Oh, it's billed as a super no vacancy full house.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it did look full. Like we couldn't really see like what the building looked like on the like other side of the hard cam, but like what we could see from the hard cam, like the show looked like every seat was sold out. Like I didn't really see any empty seats.
So the first match in a match that I think a lot of people were excited for, Yoshiki Inamura versus Kazusada Higuchi went to a time limit draw at 15 minutes. I think I might have hyped myself up a little too much. I thought this was good, but it didn't quite seem like the crazy Haas battle that I was expecting, and I didn't think Inamura showed a lot of the like fire and energy he does usually here. I mean, he did a little bit towards the end, but there was something, I don't know, off about his performance in this. Did you think of that?
Yeah, I think maybe to me this match was just like a victim of like high expectations.
Yeah.
So, because obviously everyone was just like, I thought it was still a good match though.
Yeah,
but
for sure, it was good.
There was something weird about it, yeah. Like, I also thought like the finish was weird, where they were just kind of sumo clutching, and then they announced the time limit draw. Like, that felt like a weird spot to end it on. I mean, maybe this was just like a thing. I mean, obviously it was just supposed to build to like the CyberFight 6-man tag match.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like saving some for like an eventual like singles match, because maybe both of them are going to be in the N1 and in the same block. But yeah, there was definitely something felt off here, but I also can't really put my finger on it.
Yep, for sure. It's sort of interesting, I guess. Like, just I thought Higuchi looked better than Inamura too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was something about Inamura. I don't know, because they weren't like they didn't wrestle like how most matches go when 1 minute is announced as being left on the clock and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was really, that's what I mean. Like, it was just sumo clutching, and there was like no urgency really to like finish the match. So, because you knew that the time limit draw was coming up. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they are, they aren't both former sumo guys, right? Like Higuchi was
no,
judo, right?
Inamura was he was in I read this because this was a story ran in like the Japan Times, which is an English newspaper, several years ago before he actually was in the Noah Dojo, but he was in one of those university pro wrestling clubs.
Ah, okay, and I think Higuchi was judo, I think.
I thought Higuchi was sumo.
Oh, was Higuchi sumo? Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Let me check a look. Higuchi. Oh, he was both actually. He did judo and sumo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then in the second match, Shuhei and Extreme Tiger defeated Hao and Alejandro in 11 minutes and 15 seconds after Yo pinned Hao with the Yo roll. I like this match. It was just like quick, fast-paced, undercard junior match. Fun, like 3.5 stars. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed this as well. Like I said, for me, like the two people that have took the biggest steps kind of in this year were like Tadasuke, and then the other one is Shuhei. Like I think he's just like a really good kind of veteran babyface junior wrestler right now. And yeah, I really like kind of the finishing sequence as well, where like just Shuhei and Hao were just trying to roll each other up until Shuhei caught Hao. So yeah, it was a fun match, and I like the finish.
And then Michael Elgin and Masa Kitamiya defeated Simon Gotch and Kinya Okada in 9 minutes and 52 seconds with an Elgin bomb on Okada. I thought this was good, and I thought actually Okada and Gotch worked really well as a team.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Was kind of two good teams against each other. Okada and Gotch, yeah, as I said, like they've showed really good chemistry as well. Maybe that's like something you can think about as well. Maybe put them together as a team. Maybe finding Okada something to do. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if Gotch also is like a guy that is like in a tag division as well, where like once he like finds like a permanent partner, I think that's a good spot for him to be in right now to build him up too, because he has had quite a few singles matches now. So I think it might be time to like have and do a few more tags as well, because there aren't that many people that get like super regular like singles matches in Japan.
No, right? I think it's just sort of like a trying him out and showing him off sort of phase.
Yeah.
And he'll like, slide into more traditional roles the longer he's around.
Yeah.
Next match, Kaito Ki in a Junta farewell match because he's going on an excursion to Mexico, staying in Casa de Altomo or Casa de Dragon, what's it called?
Toriamon Casa, I think is it.
Toriamon Casa. But it's owned by Ultimo.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally just Ultimo's house in Mexico.
Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Junta Miyawaki in 17 minutes and 12 seconds with a Tiger Suplex. I thought this was really good. I thought this was the match of the show. Kaito played the bully here, which is not sort of something that you see from him a lot, but I think he plays it really well. And I think that's like one of those things like, that, a potential ace should have, like, because it's always cool when like Tanahashi, whenever he plays the bully sometimes against younger wrestlers and stuff, like that's a great skill to have, and like Kaito was really showing it off here.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with Kaito's performance. Also thought Junta looked really good as well.
Yeah.
I also thought Kaito actually gave him a lot because this went 17 minutes. So like it went way longer than I expected to. I actually expected the match to finish when Kaito had Junta in the Boston Crab. Like I actually expected him to tap out there, and then the match actually went on significantly longer than that. But I thought it's also a really nice thing to actually give Miyawaki like a proper singles match before he goes on excursion. So yeah, no, I thought this was a really good performance by both men, and going to be interesting like what Miyawaki comes back as from excursion. Because, I mean, how long actually do you expect him to be on excursion?
I don't think this is going to be like a New Japan length excursion.
Because Kaito went on excursion, that wasn't really super long either. Like, he came back from that relatively quickly. Because he was the last one that Noah sent on excursion, right?
But wasn't he still there almost a year, though? In Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I do expect, because I would say it might be around a year. Like, I don't think he's going to be gone for, like, a super long time.
No. Like, how long some of those New Japan guys are, like, gone for 2 years. Like, weren't, like, Sho and Yo gone forever?
Yeah, Sho and Yo were like gone forever, and I mean like some of the current guys have been gone forever as well. I don't know. I don't actually see like a
Ren Narita's been gone for a while.
Yeah. Because when was
Okan
Kaito's excursion?
2017?
Oh yeah, 2017.
It's been that long, jeez.
2017. I mean, but he's still at like in 2017. He's still at 55 matches on Noah.
Maybe it bled into 2018 as well.
Yeah, no, because like 2017 he wrestled in like he had 21 matches in Canadian Wrestling's Elite, 7 matches in Smash, 6 in Pure Wrestling Association, 3 in Impact, 2 in Cross Body Pro Wrestling Academy. So yeah, he had like a bunch of like indie matches in Japan, in Canada around that time. But it's not like he took like the year off completely. So it was like a relatively short excursion. I would expect something like that for like Miyawaki as well. But I would say maybe he might be gone for like a year, maybe. But I don't expect him to be gone for like 2 years.
Yeah, I would assume if he's getting an excursion that he's going to be moved immediately to the top of the juniors when he gets back, right?
Yeah, I would expect that as well. Like I would expect him to get a relatively strong push because it seems pretty clear that Noah likes him. But I think even for Noah purposes, he's too small to move him up to heavyweight.
Yep. And then we had the match building to CyberFight Festival. Damnation TA, Daisuke Sasaki, MJ, Paul, and Cannon defeated Kongo, Hajime Ohara, Hiroki, and Keno in 15 minutes and 13 seconds when Sasaki put Hiroki in like a crossface and got the submission. You were talking about getting distracted by your phone. I got distracted by my phone during this. It pretty much played out how I expected. A bunch of brawling to begin, and then I guess it kind of got a little better towards the end, and then whatever. But I was never like, I'm not really a Daisuke Sasaki fan, so I wasn't like, Keno was carrying that feud in my opinion on his back with like the flaming kick and everything, because he's fucking incredible. One of the best promos in the business, really. I think that people would agree. I think from all reports of how he's received in Japan. So but otherwise, when it's like Sasaki and on the offense, I'm much less interested, I have to say.
I don't know. I actually kind of like this match. Like, I don't think it was really like a good match, but I thought it did a good job to build to the singles match between Sasaki and Keno. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I kind of like the brawling. I mean, Damnation, whenever they're in DDT, I sometimes roll my eyes. I generally enjoy them, but like, can be a bit much at times. I thought they felt fresh here, though, in Noah, so I think that probably helped me. I thought it was an okay match overall, and to me, it did do a good job to build to the singles match. I assume we are going to see some bullshit in that match as well, just given how much it has been built around Sasaki using a cattle prod on Keno. So I assume we're going to see that during the match at CyberFight Festival as well.
Right. And then the main event, Satoshi Kojima, Atsushi Katoge, and Mohammad Yone defeated Daisuke Harada, Go Shiozaki, and Shuhei Tanaguchi in 20 minutes and 53 seconds after Kojima pinned Tanaguchi with a lariat. This was another great match. I like the inclusion of the juniors in this. I thought Katoge and Harada both worked pretty hard here. And, Yone, you got your wish. Yone's in the main event.
Yeah. Let's see if this is like something long term, or probably not. But yeah, as you said, like, there's a lot of people that can actually rotate in and out of these matches as well. So in this case, obviously, because it was like at a smaller venue, they didn't actually really need like that big of a main event to draw. Like, it's fine if you have just 2 main eventers with Kojima and Shiozaki in here. But yeah, everyone in the promotion is like able to like work this kind of Noah main event 6-man tag match formula really, really well, and this was yet another example of it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, like I said, good to mix it up with the juniors. So this was, I'd recommend this show because it was a pretty easy watch. Yep. It was like 2 hours.
To me, there wasn't really like a bad match on the show, since I was kind of fine with Damnation versus Kongo.
Yeah.
So like, if you have time, like, I think it's like well worth your time to just like, you don't need to go out of your way to watch it. But if you have time, like, I think it's a nice show.
If you're planning on watching the CyberFight Festival, you should watch it, I think.
Yeah, no, because there was a bunch of stuff set up for it on here as well. So no, I thought this was a really nice show from Noah.
Okay, and so we'll talk about briefly preview the CyberFight Festival because it's coming up on June 12th, and we will review it on the next show. So let's just go through these matches real quick. There's not really a story between every match, although when there is, I'll discuss it. But Paul, let's just get your and I's picks. So opening first match, Muscle Sakai and Yukio Naya versus Soma Takao and Kazuki Harada. I think Sakai and Naya win that one.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, don't watch DDT often enough to get really good feeling on some of these like undercard matches, especially that are like DDT focused. But yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
And then Tokyo Joshi match, Hyper Misao and Yuki Aino and Raku and Palm Harajuku and Haruka Neko versus Nao Kakuta, Mahiro Kiryu, Moka Miyamoto, Arisu Endo, and Kaya Torimbami. I'm going to assume, I think the Hyper Misao team wins. There's a little more star type power with Misao and Aino on the other team, and like Toribami's probably eating the pin here, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, Hyper Misao just comes off of a title program, and yet Toribami is right there to just eat the pin. So I think that's another one.
Paul, I'm actually kind of excited to talk about Tokyo Joshi on the pod because I started watching last year and I've become a fan.
Yes, no, Tokyo Joshi is actually my favorite Joshi promotion. So I mean, obviously, if you're interested in Joshi, then listen to the Jumping Bomb Angels on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. But this gives us a good excuse to talk about it.
Well, they talked about the show too, and I have some similar thoughts actually to what Taylor was saying about the four-way, which we'll get to in a second. The next match, we got Eruption, Yukio Sakaguchi, Saki Akai, and Hideki Okatani versus Ken Oka, Yuna Manase, and Mizuki Watase. Poor Naoya Nomura can't even get on the CyberFight Festival in the Gambari matches. I think Eruption wins this because, Manase and Watase drop a lot of falls off, especially in the promotional matches.
Yeah, no, I think this is probably one of the easier ones to predict. Eruption, I would be very willing to put a decent amount of money on Eruption winning this match.
Yeah. Next match, Kinya Okada and Kai Fujimura versus Toei Kojima and Yuya Koroku. This is actually one of the more interesting matches on the card because it's like the young guys, well, Kinya Okada is what he is, not necessarily young, but the younger-ish guys of Noah versus the young guys of DDT, because Kojima and Koroku are definitely more rookies, guys. I think it'll still really be good. I'm excited for it, but I would assume Okada will actually have some of his seniority pay off and probably pin Kojima or Koroku.
I mean, I would hope so, because he is kind of the most senior guy in the match, but it is always difficult with these kind of interpromotional matches.
I could see, Kojima pinning Fujimura or something.
Well, I don't think the DDT guys are going to win. I think this is either Kinya gets the pin, or this is a time limit draw.
That's possible too.
Because I could see them go 10 minutes and then they're just going to call it a draw.
Yep. Very true. And then next match, we have Miyu Yamashita, Maki Ito, and Julia Nagano. I've seen it spelled both ways because she's an idol. Versus Hikari Noa, Suzume, and Yuki Arai. I mean, obviously, I think the winners of this should be pretty obvious. It'll be Yamashita's team. They're the big stars, and Nagano is being positioned as the next big thing in Tokyo Joshi. I think the only question is how much of her time she's going to devote to being a wrestler as opposed to an idol.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's shown a lot of promise, though, so it's definitely, it is definitely very interesting, and giving her a match as well on this big of a stage, I think, and also teaming kind of with two of the biggest stars in Tokyo Joshi is definitely that's a sign. I mean, as I said, they do think they have something here with her.
Yeah.
So
until Rossi steals her away.
Yeah, we'll see. But still, I think again, out of all of the matches on this show, this is probably the one that is the easiest one to predict.
Yep, for sure. Next match, definitely a DDT style match. We got the Pheromones, Yuki Sexy Ino, Denshoko Dandy Dino, and Yumahito Fantastic Imanari versus and Akito. I don't know what Akito's nickname in all of this is though. Anyway, they're against Senshiro Takagi, Kendo Kashin, Shinya Aoki, and Yumiko Hota. which is quite the interesting thrown together team.
It's a Fire Pro random team, basically.
Yeah.
Just basically, who else do we need that needs to get onto the card?
I would assume the pheromones are going to harass Hoda because she's a woman and they tend to do that whenever they're in intergender matches.
Yay.
Although it could also be Hoda just kicking the shit out of them. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pheromones match, so if you're not familiar with them, then you're in for something.
It's like Dino's shtick, but a whole stable.
Yeah, and
Eno's gets his ass out.
If you are familiar with the faction, then you know exactly what this is going to be. Especially also with Takagi in there.
Yeah, he will ride a bike into someone.
So who is there? Is there something in the stadium where Kashin can throw someone off?
Oh God, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Also, that would take a while to get somewhere as well, where you can actually try that. Because they're running a proper stadium.
I would assume the Pheromones lose this because I don't really think any of these other guys are going to do a job to them.
Maybe.
Kashin doesn't job. Aoki's somewhat protected.
Yeah.
Takagi,
maybe that's why Akito is in there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's not going to be a work rate match. Next match, it's a 4-way Tokyo Joshi. The winner of this match receives. Oh, it is at the Ota Award. So Princess of Princess Championship at Tokyo Joshi's Ota Award Gym on July 9th. So it's Rika Tatsumi versus Mizuki versus Yuki Kamifuku versus Miyu Watanabe. I think Rika wins this because, Tokyo Joshi is pretty conservative booking at the top of the card. And I think Miyu's ready for a title shot. She's challenged for the Princess of Princess before, but she's not ready to be headlining Ota Award Gym.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like Rika would be the safest pair of hands in that position of anyone in this match. So yeah, that's why I think it's Rika winning.
But do you think Rika might be too distracted just posting on a Discord all the time?
Very possible. Rika does post on Discord way too much. She should be training.
No, but I do agree that Rika is probably the safest bet here. I don't know. I mean, Yuki probably not. I mean, they have been pushing her a bit much, but again, if this was not for because Ota Award is such a big building. If this was for a smaller show, for a title shot at a smaller show, I could see her get it.
Because they have a Cork and Hall the following week, and I wasn't sure when the challenger would get the shot. So, now that it's Ota Award, I feel even more confident in saying Rika.
Yeah, because that's just they need to put something on there that they can be sure that can draw on there. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Miyu get the shot here, but because it is Ota Award, it just feels like such a safe bet that it is Rika. So, but I think it still should be a really good match, though.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I'm looking for. I think all the Tokyo Joshi matches will be pretty good. The first one might be just okay, but the other, the 6-woman tag, and then this, I think will be pretty good.
And then the semi-main, I think, is going to be amazing. But we'll talk about that.
Princess, yeah, for sure. And then after that, we've Takashi Sugiura and Kazuyuki Fujita and Masa Kitamine and Daiki Inabe and Shuhei Tanaguchi, basically everyone left on the Noah roster thrown together, versus the foreigner team of Michael Elgin, El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., Rene Dupree, Simon Gotch, and X.
And X is going to be revealed in a bit less than a week now. Yeah.
I don't have any feel for it, but I assume it's foreigner.
Yeah, I mean, would be weird if it wasn't, given that they're teaming with all of the foreigners. It would be weird if it is actually just a Japanese person, and why are they teaming with literally all of the foreigners on the Noah roster?
I think we talked about this before, but it was Eddie probably technically would be the most likely. Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards would be the most likely.
Unless Noah's going to shell out for someone big.
I mean,
apparently, I've heard that Claudio's going rate is a little pricey.
But I mean, for the CyberFight Festival, you can probably money isn't really a question, right?
Yeah. Who else is worth being an X other than Claudio or Eddie Edwards?
Hero, but again, Hero is kind of retired.
Yeah, well, he claims he's not, but I'll see it when I.
Samoa Joe, but again, he is signed to AEW, and I don't think that would work time-wise. Because when is Forbidden Door?
Oh, June 26th or something.
I mean, maybe, but again, it's kind of weird that he would be on a joint show of New Japan, and then he comes in here for Noah. That would be weird as well. I don't think it would be anyone that is contracted to AEW.
No.
Because if this was, for example,
Slacks?
especially because it's a Noah match, because Noah and
Yeah.
AEW don't really have a relationship, but DDT and AEW, like if this was an X on like a DDT match, I think there would be more of a chance that it is someone from AEW. So
Yeah, for sure.
it would have to be a foreigner that is available and not contracted to AEW, I think, is like the parameters here. And that doesn't really leave a lot of people as kind of something that would warrant them being X.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, to me, like my money is probably on Eddie. But again, given that like later on, like that Rob Van Dam is on here, like it could just also be something out of complete left field as well.
For sure. But like, who's big enough to be an X that's like out there? Even just
Goldberg.
Johnny Noah.
Oh God, no! Please, no. No, Barnett wouldn't work, Noah. I mean, he would, right? There's a lot of shooters.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know.
I mean, and he is friends with Gotch.
Yep. I wonder what his relationship with Fujita is like.
I have no idea. Maybe that's gonna be it's gonna be an actual shoot.
Yeah. So the next match after that is Harashima Naomi Yoshimura and Chris Brooks and Masahiro Takanashi, who is your new, actually also DDT Universal Champion, versus Yuki Ueno, Shunma Katsumata, and Mao and Asuka. I think this will be pretty good.
I think this should be a ton of fun. This one is, to be fair, is one where I'm actually not sure what the result is going to be, because especially now that Takanashi just beat Mao for the belt, like I did not expect that.
Someone could pin Takanashi to set up a title match, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could also just be...
Does Shunma have the Extreme title?
Not anymore. He used to. I don't remember who has the Extreme title right now. He definitely was the Extreme title champ, unless he's won it back since then.
Yeah.
No, he was the Extreme champion in 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not the Extreme champion right now. Who's actually the Extreme?
Who's
It's
Extreme
Eno.
champion
Eno
right
is
now?
the Extreme champion at the moment.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, so I could see Shunma pinning Takanashi or something.
Yeah, that's a possible. Actually, what would be interesting to me is, what if Asuka pins?
Yes,
pins Takanashi, and that's the next title match, because I think that would be really good.
Yep, that's also a very possible. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Takanashi getting pinned to set up a title match later. Then, of course, we have Rob Van Dam, Yoshinari Ogawa, and Hayata versus Kaito Kiyomiya, Daisuke Harada, and Yohei.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Fire Pro random matches, how about Rob Van Dam, Ogawa, and Hayata? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, did you see the hype video that they did for RVD?
Yes, I did.
Did you see which promotion they used footage of?
No.
They used OTT footage.
Oh, did they?
They used footage of RVD versus Scotty Davis, which yes.
God.
Oh God, I really hope that this is not a sign
exactly...
of things to come.
Yeah, well, this is Noah, of course.
Already
right?
hate that I have to talk about fucking Elgin and O'Hara. I really don't want to add fucking Scotty Davis to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be Rob Van Dam in 2022. Like, really, only so much you could expect from that.
And apparently, not a one shot.
Yeah. Cool.
So I assume then Harada or Yohei probably takes the.
Yeah, I mean, RVD isn't losing.
Yohei probably.
RVD isn't losing.
Yohei
like, I would expect Yohei to take the pin here.
Yeah.
I mean, the other people in the match are good though. Well, Hayata, but at least Ogawa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, whenever Ogawa's in there, it's gonna be fun, and otherwise it's gonna be a match.
Okay, and then a DDT versus Noah match, Tetsuya Endo, Jun Akiyama, and Kazusada Higuchi versus Atsushi Kotoge and Yoshiki Inamura, and replacing Naomichi Marufuji is Katsuhiko Nakajima, who finally gets on the card. And they ran that in a press conference that was on just before we recorded, which is worth watching just to see Nakajima slapping Kotoge.
Like, shoot slapping him so much that, like, Kotoge actually went down. Like, he actually knocked him on, like, he slapped him so hard that he actually knocked him on his ass.
Yeah. So this match is going to have a can they coexist storyline going for it.
And I mean, they're also going to lose. Because, like, I fully expected the Noah team to lose even prior to this, but I definitely expect them to lose now. Because, I mean, Endo's the KOD champion. Like, he's not going to lose. So it was always clear that the Noah team was going to lose this match.
Akiyama's not going to do a job.
I mean, you can have a Gucci drop a fall, but again, Endo, like, they're not going to... If they don't have a KOD title match on the show, they're not going to have the KOD champion lose their match.
Katoge is going to get... I bet you Akiyama pins Katoge because Katoge was talking shit about Akiyama.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's not in Amora, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And then Keno versus Daisuke Sasaki. Not looking forward to it. Not a big fan of Sasaki, but we'll see what Keno can get out of it, which, might actually be okay.
No, I'm actually somewhat looking forward to it. I mean, I do expect there's going to be some bullshit in the match, but I think overall it has a chance to be a good match because I trust in Keno to like get the best out of Sasaki. And it's not like Sasaki can't have a good match against the right opponent. Like, he actually had like one of the best matches of like he had really, really good match against Dick Togo when Dick Togo came back for his second run. Like, that was probably like the best match of Togo's second run. So, and there's other matches as well where Sasaki has been really, really good. So I think if you put him in there with the right guy and if he's motivated, he can deliver. And this is a big spot for him as well.
Right. Well, I can say the issue, it's been a while since I can think of Sasaki having good stuff, though.
True, but again, he's in there with Keno, who is one of the best in the world right now. So I am looking forward to it. Obviously, there is a chance that the match just kind of falls apart or is just okay, but I do think there is a chance that it can be really good.
Yeah. I hope. Do you think they do get the flaming
kick? I mean, look, literally, like, we're going to get a cattle prod and we're going to get a flaming kick. Like, I think that's pretty much guaranteed. And I think maybe this time, Keno will actually get a pin off of it as well.
Yes. Then your semi-main event for the Princess of Princess Championship, Shoko Nakajima, the champion, versus Yuka Sakazaki, in what will undoubtedly, I think, be a really great match, one of the best of the show.
I think this has a good chance to be one of the matches of the year. Like, I think this might be a match of the year candidate as well. Like, at least that's my expectations, because these are, like, two of the best workers on the Tokyo Joshi roster. Like, I think it's, like, the only one that I kind of put on the level, like, it's Mio, Shoko, and Yuka are, like, the three best wrestlers in Tokyo Joshi. And, yeah, I just have really high expectations for this match. They should really deliver. I do expect... then again, I'm not sure, because Yuka challenged at CyberFight Festival last year and lost. So do you think maybe this is like her redemption story where she comes back now in the next year and wins the title?
See, I forgot about that because I was leaning towards Shoko.
I was as well, but now I'm not sure.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And now, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this now. Originally, I was Shoko.
Because maybe this is also just like a long term where she like loses twice. Because Shoko also, like, she hasn't really had a long reign. No. Like, it's only 75 days. So, I don't know.
And her first reign wasn't that long.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the first one was only 184. So I feel like she's kind of due to have a long reign. But it also would make sense for Yuka to kind of redeem herself and come back now. Or maybe this is just, like, again, like, she loses twice in a row at CyberFight Festival. And that leads to, like, some sort of, like, character change for her as well.
Yeah, that's also possible. But this is, like, that's good. I mean, you can't predict the winner.
No, I think that's really good. And that makes it, like, very exciting as well. Because that just makes you buy into, like, the near falls that much more.
And in our main event for the GHC Heavyweight Championship, Go Shiozaki, the champion, versus Satoshi Kojima.
I think this is going to be good.
Oh, I think this is as well. Kojima works hard, but I think he'll be working extra hard here. Do you still think Kojima wins?
I'm a little less certain now than I was before.
Okay.
Because they keep reiterating this point that there's only very few people that have won like all four belts, or not all four, but that have won the Triple Crown, the GHC, and the New Japan World Title, the IWGP. Well. And heavyweight belt world title, because that's why I'm struggling calling, because like it's technically a belt that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, you're forgetting the NWA world title.
The NWA world title. Yeah, that's why it was all four belts.
Muto and Kojima have both held.
That's why it was all four belts, like, because they keep reiterating that on commentary. Because that's why I still feel like that Kojima is going to like win. But again, I think what will give it away is kind of the Muto announcement, because if he challenges the winner of this match, I think it's a lock that Kojima's winning.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, in that case, like, it's a lock Kojima's winning, because then they're gonna have the two guys face off that have won all 4 belts. And then that's clearly what they're building to. If that's not the announcement, then I think it's a bit more open, where I think there is a chance that Shiozaki is retaining.
Yeah, I think I feel a little more like Go's retaining. I feel like there's a bigger chance of Go retaining, but if you had to ask me, I still think Kojima's winning, to be honest with you.
Like, before they started the build, I was pretty much like locking in that Kojima is winning, but now I have like a little bit more doubts about it, where I do think that they might just want to like stabilize the promotion around Shiozaki.
I mean, ideally, that's what they should be doing. Yeah. But whether they will or not is, I think, a lot more of a question.
But I do think it's going to be a really good match, though.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And so that's the CyberFight Festival. We will review the show on the next episode. Paul, do you have any closing thoughts?
Maybe, what would your predictions be for the number? What it's going to draw?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I mean, God, Saitama fits like, what, 27,000 people, technically, or something like that? It's like one of the world's biggest arenas. Last year was what, 7,000 or something?
Last year was... Just quickly bring that up. Where is she?
I think they should ideally beat last year. There's less restrictions, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is also like an open arena, right? So is cheering going to be allowed? Because there's less of a restriction on that, on open venues.
At the press conference, Takagi said people could bring food and drink.
Which, that's already like a big change as well.
Yeah.
So the last one had around 4,800. They should easily beat that. If they don't, then this entire thing is in trouble. Not just Noah, but like the entire like CyberFight thing.
You got the whole thing. Everybody's having issues drawing. Although, I mean,
no, but I think just because there are going to be less restrictions on it, I think that just easily should be like a thing. And people can like finally bring food and drink in as well, which I don't know if people that haven't been to Japan know, but you can just like bring food and drinks to a venue. Like, that's just a normal thing in Japan.
Yes, it's very popular. Foreigners bringing their strong zeros to wrestling events.
I remember going to Cork as well for what's it called again? For Michinoku Pro, and getting some gyoza at Lawson downstairs. So yeah, it's definitely a thing a lot of people do, and I've seen people as well at like Tokyo Giants games just bringing in like an entire like meal to like eat at the game.
Yeah, isn't that like also like in the boxes at Sumo Hall, basically like laying out like a platter?
Yes, where people just bring like a picnic blanket and just No. That's definitely like a sign of like things easing up in Japan. And again, I have seen at like other outdoor shows people being allowed to make noise while wearing masks. So I wonder if that's just
people are making noise at Cork.
Yes, anyway, So I wonder like that might actually be one of the first shows now, one of the first major shows, where we might get crowds making noise.
Now, because I don't think, some people say it's like not till July or something.
But that's indoor.
I don't know.
Like, that's different.
Yeah. So we shall see. But so I'm going to say anything less than 5 is going to be not good.
Anything less than last year's is going to be an absolute disaster.
Absolutely. All right. So any then closing thoughts, Paul?
I mean, for Noah, as we talked about, it's kind of a promotion, a little bit of like turmoil right now. I mean, as we see, like there's just all kinds of stuff going on at the moment. I do still think there's a chance for like Noah to like stabilize in the second half and like actually finally like build on the promise that they have. It's just a promotion that is in a very weird place right now.
Well, I mean, if we're headed towards Kojima and Muto at the Budokan in July, I mean, how stabilized is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually going to be curious comparing. Like, because in theory, the Budokan number, like, between All Japan and Noah shouldn't even be close. But I wonder, like...
I think it's a lot more in play now, Especially if they have especially if All Japan is a strong main event. Like, if it's basically, like, come to Budokan and see Kento versus a big-name outsider, or being like, okay, you want to see Yuma win the Triple Crown? And
they're going to have, like, someone else maybe on the undercard to draw as well. They're bringing some sort of outsider.
Yeah, they will probably do that for sure. Yeah. All right, so that is everything. For Paul Vosh, I'm Gerard DiTrolio, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.